Nolan Arenado's last walk-off hit. Well, it's been a while. How about one right here? One ball, no strike, swing drive, deep left field. That ball is gone. He can jog home.
Let's get nasty on a Wednesday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh and Anthony Stalter. And I saw it. As soon as I came into the office today, I knew what had happened.
What?
You guys got text messages last night.
I got several last night. And Anthony, guess what?
You're back.
I'm guilty of sitting there waiting for them. But we did have a good conversation.
Oh, so you guys talked last night.
Yeah,
you and the Cardinals
talked. It wasn't
talked.
the automatic where, hey, come on over. It was no, let's talk.
Yeah.
Because this is getting weird. You guys are you're starting to play good now, and you're starting to look like an actual baseball team.
Yeah.
And I saw effort from guys that I haven't seen all year. It concerns me, the erratic behavior that they're displaying.
What I heard was you said to him, hey, I still have some of your CDs. And the Cardinals responded with, and I quote, that's okay, you can hold on now.
You forgot your T-shirt.
And the butterfly started again for you. You're all in.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. But it is fun to watch a team play well. I can't lie about that. And watching this team over the last couple of games, specifically last night, it just looked like a different team. I'm not saying they're going to be a team that runs the table here and gets into the playoffs. In fact, I have no expectations of that.
Yeah.
But I am excited to see the team play well, because I don't think you can truly be a Cardinals fan if you're just sitting there wanting them to be miserable all year and be terrible.
Right.
So when they play well, and when I notice guys let's break down a couple of situations here. Contreras tracks down that little comebacker off of Monty, grabs the ball, dives for it, and throws it underhand to goalie, just misses the out. It's a hell of an effort. An effort like that, what it does is it shows your teammates you haven't given up. You haven't cashed your chips. Then I look at Lars Nootbaar with the catch that he made in the outfield. He hasn't given up. Then Dylan Carlson comes flying through and snags one right in front of Jordan Walker. And then the best part of all, Nolan Arenado's 0 for gopher, I believe, on the night at the time. No, I think he had one hit. He had one hit. This is what you're paid for. And I'm not trying to be that guy, but Nolan Arenado steps up and bashes the game-winning home run.
Well, it's what they weren't getting beforehand. Not just from him specifically, but that clutch hit.
But also the clutch hit from your big boys.
Yeah.
We're missing that. So when I watched last night's game, and you attach it to the 3-game winning streak that they had before, I'm sitting there going, it just looks like a different team all the way back, all the way to the pitcher. Monty was shoving last night. He had a swagger to him.
It's like he's pitching for a contract or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. No,
he's that later. But it just looked different. And I enjoyed watching the game, and I was really happy that they played well, and hopefully it carries on and move forward, and hopefully John Mozeliak still makes the right decisions for this ball club, because I do feel like this ball club is not that far off from being a really good team with the proper pitching.
Yes, but we're still talking about a pretty significant overhaul that needs to happen with the pitching staff. Because last night, and really since the All Star break, nothing is disproven the theory that, or the idea that the Cardinals don't have the offense. They do. I think where we're at is, I've never said this. I'll just speak for myself. I've never said it's a complete rebuild.
No, it's not. Not with the team that you have.
You don't need to completely tear it down to the studs. Now, I have said, if you truly want to get nasty with things, and you want to see if Goldschmidt would entertain trade, doing the no trade clause.
Marshy.
Hold on. But that ship has sailed. They're not going to trade him. That's fine. That ship has sailed.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. But none of what has happened since the All Star break excuses the fact that you didn't play well enough to get you to this spot. So the trade deadline, to me, everything that we're seeing now, we want to see. It's more exciting to see a competitive team. I don't care what type of year it is. But none of this changes the fact that you still need to be aggressive at the deadline, and this is still a monumental trade deadline for John Mozeliak. Agreed?
It is, but I think the strategy at the deadline can change a little bit too. I think you can have layers of what you acquire. What I mean by that is I think John Mozeliak can pinpoint maybe some young up-and-coming pitchers that are maybe a year away. And then I also think he can target guys that are ready to go, that are currently playing on major league rosters or a 3 somewhere else. Bring that guy in because you need pitchers.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about, like, the Cardinal fan base can't get all upset if Mozeliak goes out and gets a number 3 starter. You can't.
You need a 3.
You can't be pissed.
Right.
You need a 3. You need 5 guys next year. You've got 2 right now. And so you got to fill out your rotation. And I'd rather have more numbers and whittle it down or cut guys or DFA guys or trade guys after I don't need them rather than what we had this year where you thought you had your starting 5 and then there was injuries and problems and now you had nothing.
Let's not keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. When it comes to this current team, as it pertains to the deadline, Jamie, what I want to see done, just in general terms, is to trade expiring contracts for contracts that for cost control with pitchers. Now, it's weird because you're going to have to trade some pitchers to get some pitching. But again, that's not what we're doing here. What we're doing is you're going to trade guys that are on expiring contracts for cost-controlled pitchers. You're buying some years, and therefore you're buying some upside with current assets that you have.
And you'll have to sweeten the pot. You'll have to You're not going to send off Tyler O'Neill for cost-controlled young up-and-coming pitcher. You're going to have to sweeten the pot with maybe some cost-controlled players going the other way.
You're going to have to get creative.
Whatever it is. I do feel like this Cardinals team is not that far off from being a good team. If you can rectify the pitching problems, whether it's the rotation and the bullpen, quite honestly, the whole staff needs a revamp. If you can fix that, this team offensively can compete.
Marsh, where are you on this?
I've been known to.
You got the text, but I'm seeing a different version. You looked at it.
I'm a track record guy.
You looked at it and you set it down. Like you didn't have any reaction to it.
Nah, I thought about it.
That's interesting.
He totally answered. They told me you answered. So stop it.
No, I've been burned.
No.
I've been burned.
They said, hey, we just tried Marshy. He responded, but seems like he's a little tired. So maybe you're a little standoffish, but you did answer.
They went to Marsh first because they figured he was a layup.
and when I didn't give them what they wanted, they went to Jamie, and Jamie took the bait. I'm not taking the bait.
I'm your huckleberry.
Just yet. They played the Nationals. Yeah, cool. They're playing the Marlins, not the best team in the world, but
stop.
They're a playoff team.
Would you be more happy if they were losing?
No, I wouldn't be happy if they were losing. Don't be doing that now.
Feels like you'd be happier.
Don't be starting this day off like that.
Well, why are you not excited? They've won 4 in a row.
I am excited.
But
it was the Nationals.
I'm just saying, I'm being realistic right now. Let's just let this play out. Let's see how things go.
Quit being reasonable. Stop.
Okay. Let's trade Paul Goldschmidt then.
Oh, now you're Anthony. Jeez, my God.
You wanted to trade him last week too.
No,
thank you.
Yes, look at you, the old flipperoo.
I was driving down the highway, and before I knew it, Jamie had jumped into the vehicle. He had departed his own vehicle. He got that thing straight enough to jump into my vehicle, and I'm like, oh, Jamie. He was on the Goldschmidt
I don't even know what you're talking
bandwagon.
About,
now I'm driving down the lane, and I've at least pulled off. Jamie's no longer there anymore. Like, I don't know where Jamie went.
He jumped out.
This happens, guys. It has happened.
He jumped in the Cards Caravan.
He did. Cards Caravan was going one way. I was going the other.
Driving down the
road.
He was driving, too.
Yep. He goes, I'm with you, Freddie.
I said, that's all right. Anthony wanted to get rid of you, but I wanted to keep you, Fred.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right, it's a Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Couldn't we see a soft retool midseason to still compete for the division? Let's talk about that. I don't think you need to be one or the other when it comes to buying or selling. I think you can do both. We'll get into that conversation next on 101 ESPN.
If you're like me and you're looking to redo your kitchen or your bathroom, you probably don't know exactly what you're doing. But that's okay. You don't have to, because my friends over at E&B Granite, they're going to take great care of you. They've been in the business here in St. Louis for over 20 years. And what I love about the staff over at E&B Granite is they're willing to work with you. And what I mean by that is maybe you do have a vision. Maybe you're not like me and you have a clear vision as to what you're going to try and accomplish with your kitchen or your bathroom. They've got you. They're there to help. But if you don't have an idea what you're doing, then they take over and they drive the bus for you. And boy, are they awesome. I redid my kitchen and ended up going with a brand new countertop. And the countertop, we ran it up the wall instead of a backsplash. I would have never thought about that. But E&B Granite and their representatives did that for me, and it looks absolutely incredible. And as far as countertops is concerned, they've got granite, quartz, marble, soapstone. Great countertops, and it's all there on location. You can go check it out in the back. You can pick your countertops for your kitchen or your bathroom. So please, I tell you right now, get down there in person and visit them. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love hearing that. Or you can give them a call and set up an appointment at 314-645-9300. Again, that number is 314-645-9300, or you can visit them at enbgranite.com.
Center. Myers on his horse. Going back. Tag ball. It's gone. 3-run homer for Gorman.
Chip Carey on the call earlier today. Nolan Gorman with an absolute blast. Touching seats today at Busch Stadium as the Cardinals look to complete their sweep of the Miami Marlins. That made it 4-0 Cardinals, but the Marlins have struck back. They've added a couple of runs on Dakota Hudson, and now it's 4-2. Bottom of the third at Busch Stadium. But we're talking about Jamie getting another text message last night from the Cardinals, feeling good about it.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, I got to know then, what does this change then for you about the deadline? Because for me, as exciting is the wrong word. I'm happy that the Cardinals are winning. I'd rather watch winning baseball. We're going to talk about them.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about them in the second half. I don't want to sit here day after day after day and talk about how bad the team is. So I'm excited that they've turned things around. But in terms of the trade deadline, this has done nothing. I don't care if they win 17 in a row from here until you still have to look at your roster and understand that the first half counts as much as the last 2 weeks, too. But for you, has anything changed?
Not really. I mean, it really hasn't. I think maybe the thought of trading players is there. Like, you have to carry through or follow through with what you've already internally decided. However, there is one pivot that I would like to make if I was the Cardinals.
Okay.
Is not necessarily trade every single guy with an expiring contract. Maybe offer one of them an extension. And that player for me is Jordan Montgomery. And I know he's got Scott Boras as an agent. And we talked about this yesterday. BT talked about it yesterday, saying that everybody overpaid in the offseason. And the Cardinals turned around and all the dance partners were gone because teams, they overspent for pitchers, for players. Maybe you do that with Monty. And I'm not talking about giving him 25, 30 million. Give him 20 million. Give him, like, you go to Boras and say, what do you think he's going to get on the open market? And of course, Boras is going to have an inflated number.
Yeah.
But then you undercut it a little bit and you offer him a healthy extension at a number that is life-changing money, and you keep him here. And my thought process behind that is we keep talking about, well, you're going to have to go get a 2 or 3 somewhere in the offseason or trade for a 2 or 3 at the deadline. You have him. His name is Montgomery. Why not keep him? And as far as, like, the time to open up the wallet and all that stuff, this is part of it. Keep what you already know in-house. He's a steady pitcher. He's had some really good moments as a Cardinal pitcher. Seems like his teammates like him. He's got a swagger to him. He's got a little bit of that FU in him.
Yeah.
I would take the money that I would spend on somebody else, a stranger that I don't even know. And I'd rather keep a guy that I know in-house.
Okay. But if he doesn't sign with you or gives you any indication before, he's got to go,
No.
right?
So hear me out. Timeline for me is you're starting to talk to Boras right now. And you want to get this done by the trade deadline before. If you cannot, you move him. If you can't get it done with Monty and Boras before the trade deadline and you're being more than fair.
Yeah, you got to trade him.
You move him.
Okay. All right. Then you and I are on the same page then. Because if they go to him and he doesn't agree to, he doesn't put pen to paper, you have to trade him. 1 in the hand is worth 2 in the bush in this situation. You cannot allow, follow me, Jamie.
It can be.
Focus on this. You cannot allow Montgomery to hit free agency and get, even if you get a draft pick compensation, that does nothing. We've talked about this. That does nothing for you.
It's not as much as you could get if you truly traded him.
He has got to, again, he's got to go pen to paper, sign I'm with you on that. I'm fine with that. My idea of trading Montgomery is all based on him hitting the open market and signing with somebody else. Truth be told, I'd still trade him first. And then go to him in the offseason or go to him before. Yes, go to him before.
Chance. At that point,
I'd trade him and also say to him, hey, look, we're interested in bringing you back.
The problem with that now is you've invited the Yankees to the dance party.
I understand.
And they're going to swoop in and take your girlfriend. That's just what they do.
I get that.
This is my strategy is to kind of block them out.
This isn't your father's Yankees, though. Okay. You're talking about your father's Yankees. That stud that shows up to the party and is just...
No, this is my Yankees, Anthony. I grew up in that era, so... I like that you referred me as like a dad, and like
this isn't
comparing me to your father is certainly a compliment. I think. I mean, he's a wonderful human being.
Darryl Stalter's a stand-up guy.
100%. Don't really know if I'm quite the same age, but it's okay, Anthony. I know what you're trying to get.
This isn't your New York Yankees.
Thank you.
That you grew up with. Yes. This is a wounded animal right now. Nevertheless, they're still the Yankees. But for me, if Montgomery says, no, I'm still going to take my agent's advice and go to the open market here when it's all said and done. I said, okay, we're going to trade you. This hasn't been the season that we wanted. We're going to trade you, but we're very interested in bringing you back.
Okay, I don't mind that strategy. I thought you just meant like you're trading him anyways, and you'll float it out there to him.
Get out.
Hey, by the way, we might be around come free agency.
No.
He's going to be like, okay, goodbye. Go chase yourself.
Do what you can. Offer him a deal. Offer him a deal for $20 million. $20 million per year. And if you're balking at that, by the way, if you're hearing that number, you're like, $20 million from... Yeah.
Go look at other rosters right now.
20 mil. He's going to get 20 mil a year from somebody.
I know. So I look at it as, why not keep what you already know? And what made me think of that even more so than ever was the Contreras situation this year. Is you couldn't keep Yachty. I understand that. But you brought somebody in who you thought you knew or you thought you did, and you got him, and it didn't fit right away. Right. And it's still a work in progress. What happens if you do that with a pitcher? Pitcher comes in and is like, he's not what we thought, but you spent $20 million a year on a guy that you don't know. Why not keep Monty, who you know, and spend the damn money on him?
Yeah, I like the idea.
Where do the Cardinals have to be at the deadline to sort of make these decisions? You look at the second half; they have a pretty reasonable schedule in terms of how easy it is.
See, I hate that line of thinking, Marsh. Go ahead. Finish your thought. I cut you off, and I apologize.
Where we got to be in the standings?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No, not at all.
Did you see the first? And I'm not talking down to you. Did you see the first half though?
I did, but Jamie's point, if you start maybe mixing some things in, maybe some pitchers, you move some guys out that necessarily aren't a huge part of this offense. Like you have your key players in the offense that make it go.
Yeah.
And you do a little reshuffling. Where do they have to be? Do they have to be 5 games out? Do they have to be...
What do you mean by reshuffle? Just because I don't know if I'm understanding, and I don't want to, kind of fight back if we're actually saying the same thing.
So,
good call.
For instance, let's trade a few people real quick. Let's just say we get rid of Dylan Carlson, right? They trade Dylan Carlson, they trade Jack Flaherty, they go out, they get a different pitcher. They get some more pitching that comes back, a little bit younger, cost-controlled, that would be in the rotation next year, but they're going to help you in the second half. And also you get rid of some players that not necessarily are doing all too much on the offensive side of things. Do you understand where I'm getting at? Your pitching's better in the second half.
Okay, let's do it this way.
Are you entertaining the Cardinals making a comeback for a playoff push? I think that's what I'm trying to figure out what you're getting at.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Are they doing a soft retool?
Who are you keeping
mid-season?
Who are you keeping then in this soft retool? That's the question. We need to get down to the brass tacks.
Sure. I mean, obviously we don't know that.
But for you, you're Mo. Let's say the Cardinals are, because the deadline it's July 19th.
Yeah.
August 1st is the deadline. So we're only talking about 2 weeks roughly. In the next 2 weeks, you're Mo.
Yeah.
What are you doing if the Cardinals they're 10 games back now? Let's say they're 7.
7?
Yeah.
I think my threshold.
Let's say they're 6.
I think my threshold's 6.
My threshold is 4.
4?
I haven't changed that. If they get within 4 games back, I'm still selling. I'm still selling.
I still believe they need to sell. They need to sell, but I also think that in the process of selling, you can get those cost-controlled pitchers that I think will ultimately help you in the second half, because this pitching staff is not that good anyway.
So you're saying that, I agree with Jamie. You're saying the same thing.
So you could make a push based on just reshuffling your roster for the second half.
We're all in agreement here. We still have to sell certain pieces regardless. Okay.
And we're not going to get Rich Hill. I think
thank you.
But that's kind of what the thought. That's where I thought you were headed.
It's
like retool. Let's go get a couple of guys. I think you can still, if you get close enough to where you're kind of in that debate internally of like, woof, what do we do here?
Yeah, no.
Guess what? You continue to fulfill your trades that you're going to do, and then you work with the guys you bring in, and you never know. You ride the lightning as much as you can.
The only way that I think, and leave us a text message or a mic drop on this. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line, or if you want to leave us a mic drop via the 101 ESPN app, you can. What would change for you where you're actually keeping some of the guys that have been discussed in trades? We're not talking about Goldschmidt. I have brought him up, but nobody else has. The Cardinals have stated anything can happen, but that's not going to happen. We're talking about Montgomery, Flaherty, O'Neill, DeYoung, Hicks, Stratton,
maybe Carlson,
maybe Carlson,
maybe Nootbaar.
Okay, see, nude.
But I have an idea for that.
All right, but where are you? Where you're like, okay, what needs to happen for you to say, I can't give these guys up. I have to add a Rich Hill because we could get in this.
Take it back.
To me, then nothing. There's nothing that could happen.
Nope.
That would change my mind on that.
So when I'm thinking of like what part of the standings you need to be at to have this sort of soft rebuild, I'm thinking, okay, can this team get those cost control pitchers that can make an impact for not only next year, but maybe the second half? Can they do that if Jordan Montgomery does stay with the team, like Jamie was saying?
Okay.
Can you get those pitchers without getting rid of Jordan Montgomery?
I have an interesting comment to a text that was just sent in. So I want to stay in this lane.
Yeah, so do I. All right. We'll carry this over. We'll talk about the text and Jamie's reaction to it next on 101 ESPN.
Jamie Rivers here for Window World. Nothing fancy here today, folks. Just want to talk to you about replacement windows, the best in the business. That's right. They are the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. One thing I can tell you about Window World is their dedication to customer service and customer satisfaction. They read the reviews, they talk to their customers, and it is essential for them to make sure you're happy. That's what they've built this business on. One good thing about it is their product backs it up. They've got a double-strength glass that you just don't find in normal replacement windows. And I personally stood on the window and kind of bounced up and down, and it didn't break. It was an amazing thing to see. But if it does, for some reason there's a problem, they offer you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts, the glass breakage, and the labor. That, again, is customer service. And one thing I want you to remember is money in your wallet. How does that factor in? The hot stays outside in the summer and the cold stays outside in the winter. That means the windows are more efficient. That means you're paying less for your utilities. So please get over and see them in person. They're offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in, or give them a call at 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800, or look them up at windowworld.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cards defeat the Marlins last night. It was a 2-2 game in the bottom of the 10th, and then this happened.
Nolan Arenado's last walk-off hit. Well, it's been a while. How about one right here? One ball, no strike, swing drive, deep left field. That ball is gone. He can jog home.
The Cardinals going for the sweep today over the Miami Marlins. They currently lead 4-2 in the bottom of the fourth inning. We'll continue talking about Cardinals. We'll continue to talk about the Cardinals throughout the remainder of the day. We'll also talk some Blues hockey at 4:15 with our guy Jeremy Rutherford from The Athletic. But more Cardinals talk coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
I can see it now. It's August of 2023. The Cardinals just finished a somewhat successful July, slowly creeping back into the standings, causing them not to trade anyone who's a pending free agent. And then they go on to lose 7 of 9 in August and are right back 10 games back. And everyone's wondering, why did we fall for July when we saw the first half of the season?
Thank you, Matt. He's right. He's absolutely right. I'll tell you why. Because if Mo starts to think like Jamie and Marsh, you get all excited because they start teasing you with a couple of wins in July against half-rate teams
And
like the Washington Nationals.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Then you're going to be in the same spot.
All I've said today, and it's great.
Disgusting.
No, it's not actually. You can go back and listen to it on the podcast. You can record it. You can do whatever the hell you want with the audio. Because my audio has said that I'm not diverting from the plan.
You are.
I'm not.
You absolutely are.
I'm not.
Why don't
Stop
you,
it. Stop
why
being
don't
like
you
that.
go? Why don't you go ahead and tell our people what just transpired in the break between you and our outstanding sales guy Ollie, who came in here
The same stuff I
singing
just
your
told
praises. You guys are high-fiving.
Honestly,
yeah, we're on the same page.
What the hell is your problem right now?
Let's not trade.
What
we
happened?
can still win this thing.
Did you not take your medication in the break like you're supposed to?
I actually didn't, no.
Yeah, well, you can tell. I've literally said that I would follow through with trading everybody the same way, no matter what. The only thing I said is I would attempt to re-sign Jordan Montgomery.
Marsh, what'd you hear? He's
I heard a
back
bunch
in.
of nonsense.
He's back in.
Marsha, he literally said, you
back
and I
in.
are on the same page.
Nah, I wasn't listening.
Yeah, no, I know.
I didn't say it.
I don't blame you.
Hey, it's him.
All right, Anthony, before I choke you.
What's your text message say?
There's a texter that texted in. By the way, you can jump in at any time you want at 314-399-9646. That's your Comfort Service text line. If you're watching on YouTube right now, it might go black for a couple of seconds. But
I might.
so, yes, somebody talked about you're almost from the 314 says you're almost already paying Waino $20 million. I would definitely take that money and give it to Montgomery. So part two of this is from the 636 says you're talking about paying Monty number 2 money. He never has and never will be a number 2. Okay, you're paying Adam Wainwright right now almost $20 million, and he's a number 5 at best this year. He is, and on another team he may not even be on the team because he hasn't performed well, whether it's injuries or I don't care. You're paying him almost $20 million for what you've got. Why wouldn't you take that $20 million? And even if Monty's a number 3, who cares? Pay him. You're paying almost $20 million for a number 5 right now. So, 1, allocate your money properly, and 2, you're going to have to get into the modern times here of what pitchers get on the open market. If you want to keep guys, you're going to have to pay them what the open market can give them.
Right. Look, I don't think Montgomery's going to re-sign with you. But I do agree, Jamie, with the idea of bringing him back. That we can agree on. Bring him back.
I would love to do it. I don't know if it happens.
Offer him a contract.
I don't know if it happens.
I don't think it will. We'll see. I don't think it will. I think he's going to go someplace else. However, Jamie, to your point about the contracts right now for starting pitching, you can't say things like, well, you can't pay this guy such and such, and then complain about your starting pitching when the Cardinals don't do anything. They got to the point by not being aggressive in the market. And the market dictates how much guys are going to get paid. Not you. Well, the market dictates that.
Anthony, look at the real estate market, okay? So
sure.
If we jump off the rails just for a second here, you go back here a couple of years, a $200,000 house was getting $250,000. They're getting $50,000, $35,000 over list price, no inspections, no any, because we just want the house. Mm-hmm. So unless you were ready and willing to jump into the craziness and overpay for a home that you know the value, but it's a $200,000 home. Great. Then stay in your other home because you're not going to get this one unless you're ready to play ball and overspend.
Right.
So it's the same concept.
And that's fine, by the way. You don't want to be chasing bad money, but at the same time, we're talking about ball players, and you're talking about trying to improve your team. You can't just say, well, Monty's not worth such and such. You don't know that. If the Yankees are willing to pay it, if the Red Sox are willing to pay it, if the Padres are willing to pay it, if the Dodgers are willing to pay it, that's the price for Jordan Montgomery. It's kind of the bottom line.
So, Anthony, this is what I don't like. And it goes right back to what you just said about people just flip-flopping, talking out of the both sides of their mouth. Mm-hmm. And, we get a good text, and trust me, I appreciate all the texts, and I appreciate the discussion. But from the 314, it says, so you overpay for your number 5, and therefore it's okay to overpay other pitchers?
That's not what he said.
And they go, no. And I said, no, that's not, like, first of all, thank you again for the text, but that's not what I said at all. I said, you're paying a number 5 almost $20 million. Why wouldn't you pay a number 3 $20 million? Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, look around the league at 2s and 3s and even some 4s are making $20 million plus.
Yeah.
If you're not ready to jump into the big dog park, you're just going to end up with Rich Hill. You're going to end up with Steven Matz. You're going to end up like that's all you're going to end up with. And then the fan base is going to be like, well, why didn't they spend?
Right.
Well, you're just telling me right now, you're like, don't spend money, don't overpay for this. But then you're like, but why don't they spend?
Jamie,
which one is it?
To what you just said, I guarantee there were people at the time that said Marcus Stroman got too much. I'm glad the Cardinals didn't sign him. Nathan Eovaldi got too much. I'm glad the Cardinals didn't spend on him. And then 2 years later, they're like, well, why didn't you go after Stroman or Eovaldi? We can't be reactionary when we're talking about something that the Cardinals desperately need. Now, I think the Cardinals have gotten into problems before. They've gotten into trouble when they view one player in a certain way, i.e. Dexter Fowler. We need we need a center fielder and we need a leadoff guy. No, you want a center fielder and you want a leadoff guy so you can move Matt Carpenter out of the leadoff spot and move him down in the order into more of an RBI spot. You want that. You don't necessarily need it. And if you think that you need it, well, that's how you get Dexter Fowler for 5 years at $80-something million. He was grossly overpaid. That's one guy. We're talking about rebuilding an entire pitching staff.
Well, and bullpen.
You don't have, right, exactly, the entire pitching staff. You don't have the luxury of saying, well, I'm not going to pay $20 million for a starting pitcher with a track record. That's what it cost for a starting pitcher with a track record. Yeah. If not, look for one-year deals. Look for one-year deals. But the one-year deals are going to be guys that are
again, Anthony.
I know, exactly.
It'll
but I'm talking to the people.
And people are like, well, why the hell didn't we do this?
Jamie, you and I agree. I'm talking to the people that are balking at the $20 million for Jordan Montgomery. Folks, that's what it's going to cost. That's what it's going to cost.
And if you're not willing to spend that on Jordan Montgomery, fine. Right. You're going to have to spend it on someone else.
Sure.
You're literally spending it on Adam Wainwright. And I know some of that is a courtesy contract, too, for everything he's done. He took less the year before. And I'm just using him as a marker on this.
Right.
But you go around the league, there are a lot of Adam Wainwright-esque players that are a 4 or 5, and they're making $17 to $21 million. Anywhere in between that.
Yeah.
So why not give a 2 or a 3? If you don't think Monty's a number 2, fine. He's number 3. Great. I'd still give him $20 million.
Sports Six Pack is next. If you got a question for us, you can send it in 314-399-9646. That's our Air Comfort Service text line. So if you got a question for Jamie and I, our Sports Six Pack is next, right here on 101 ESPN.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is refreshed by Maggie O'Brien's, your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Sometimes Marsh has some one-liners that are outstanding.
Well, I think sometimes we forget just how much younger Marshy is than us. And we start referencing things where he's like...
reference to Marty Schottenheimer.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know
He goes, Anthony, I don't know what
now.
Anthony, I don't know what that... You said what that is.
I know who that is.
That is.
Yeah.
He's a coach for I believe it was
a lot of people.
Well, the San Diego Chargers. That's how I know him.
Yes.
But I believe he's with Washington, too.
He was with a lot, it seems.
So,
yeah.
Didn't
he coach the Chiefs, too?
Yes.
Yeah.
He
I guess I could have threw a dart.
Marty Schottenheimer was an outstanding coach. The problem was always he'd get the team to the postseason and he'd do something within the game to screw it up. He would Schottenheimer it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he was with the Chargers, the Redskins, the Chiefs, the Browns for a little bit, the Lions. He was a linebackers coach for the Lions.
Yeah, the Chargers have one of those guys on the field right now.
They do.
On the sidelines.
Yes, they do.
They like those guys.
Yeah. Question 1, please.
Question number 1.
All right, from the 314, what is your all's confidence? What is y'all's confidence level in the Cards making the correct moves?
Oh, that's a whole nother discussion.
Wow, Anthony.
I mean, that's a good question, but that is the whole. Let's just say this. What's your confidence level overall? Not in that the players, because we have no idea if the players are going to pan out. Whoever they get at the deadline, whether it's AAA guys, big league talent, the 4A guy that is on the cusp of going to the big leagues, but just not quite there. Whoever they get, we have no idea how they're going to pan out. But what's your confidence level, to the texter's question, Jamie, in Mo crushing this deadline? We sit here 2 or 3 years later.
Did we have to use the word crushing? I don't know. Like,
yeah,
when you put
it
when you put it that way, I feel like I don't have any confidence in that. But if you put it to like where you say where John Mozeliak improves this team, now I feel like he's going to do that.
But it started at the deadline. I think that when we look at what Doug Armstrong did at the deadline last year, we say that was the start. He made other moves, but that was the start.
And in fairness to Mo, he has not had a trade deadline yet.
So in 2 months.
Yeah. I think Mo's going to do right by the team. I do. I think people forget that, look, as much as you may not like his tone, you may not like the way he delivers his message.
His bow ties.
You may not like the bow tie. You may not like everything he's ever done with the Cardinals organization. It's still he's been a successful baseball person. And sometimes you can't let emotion just override the fact that Mo's had a gut punch this year. Mm-hmm. He has. And I said this the other day. I feel like this is the first time where he's like, okay, it's go time. Like, I really have to fix the problem here.
Yeah.
And I think that he's gonna tap into every resource he possibly can as far as scouts and other people that he knows and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to do a good job. I do. I have confidence that Mo is going to do what's right for the team.
Well, the only other time that he is
I don't have confidence of him like signing guys and getting the contracts right in the offseason.
But that's not, and we've talked about this, that's not all him. He's got ownership.
You're right.
That he's got to go through there too. But how about this, though? Let's just take a step back. Let's be fair. The Randy Arozarena trade, that one was... I don't know if the Cardinals weren't really selling, so to speak. So let's just put that to the side. Same thing with Arenado, same thing with Goldschmidt. Same thing with Ozuna. Those were players that the Cardinals were pursuing, and they knew they were getting what was supposed to be the best player in the deal. When Mo has done the smaller deals in which he has quote-unquote sold, whether that's Luke Weaver for Gallegos or Tommy Pham for... bad timing now with Genesis Cabrera, but getting Genesis Cabrera for a couple of years in the Tommy Pham deal. When he sold, quote unquote, for Lackey, giving up Alan Craig. I mean, he's done pretty well. Not all blockbusters, not all wins for Mo, but he's done fairly well. So I'll give him a shot.
Yeah, I think you have to. I mean, he didn't get to be the president of baseball operations for being an absolute moron.
Right. Agreed.
Like people forget that he worked his way up through the system. He worked his way up from whatever, scouting to lower management to GM to now president of baseball operations to one of the most successful franchises.
Right.
We haven't had a World Series win in since, 2011. I get it. But still a very successful franchise overall. Let's give him a chance. This is the first deadline where he really has to shake and move and do things the right way. Let's see what he does.
Deal.
Question number 2.
This one comes from the 636. Jamie, do you believe that Vladimir Tarasenko is regretting asking for a trade from the Blues based on the free agency that he is having right now?
No, I don't think he regrets that at all. I don't think he cares about that one bit. I think what he regrets is maybe thinking he was better than he is.
Whoa.
No, seriously, though.
Do you think he does think that way, though?
No, he doesn't. That's the problem. That's why he's still unsigned. Honestly.
That's why I asked.
Because if he was fair or at least, whatever you call it, his own internal... Realistic. Thank you, Anthony.
God, buddy.
If he was realistic about his own evaluation of him as a player, he'd be signed right now. He'd assigned a $4 million contract somewhere because, let's be honest, Vladimir Tarasenko has less value overall than Ryan O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly hit it out of the park with 4.5, but he got that because that's a Nashville team that had a very specific vision for Ryan O'Reilly with that club. They're changing the culture. They need leadership. If I'm Vladimir Tarasenko, what is he, 34 right now, I think is what he is? Marshy, you're supposed to know this stuff.
Off the top of my head?
No.
Well, I figured I'd give you a chance.
Hey, we have asked you several times to know every single player in every single sport.
I've got it here. He's 31.
Birthdays.
Never mind, he's 31.
I knew that.
So if I was Vladimir Tarasenko, I'd look to get a 3-year deal, but make it modest. Average it out at $4 million a year.
Yeah.
Go play for a team that is going to play you. Now he's going to end up at a 1-year deal somewhere, and it's not going to be the price tag that he wants. Ottawa made their trade. So if the Senators were the hot team on the market, like they're going to get Tarasenko, all they have to do is move Alex DeBrincat. They did, over a week ago. And they still haven't signed Vladimir Tarasenko. The Carolina Hurricanes are supposed to be the other team. They're now talking about other players, bringing other guys. Like Tarasenko's, his name isn't even out there right now, guys. So I think his biggest regret is probably overvaluing what he is as a player at this point in his career. And maybe his agent did that. Maybe that's why he fired the agent. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the things he would regret is everything that went down here in St. Louis. Didn't have to be made public. His agent made it public because they wanted to be aggressive and they wanted to force Army to trade him. I believe it's blown up in his face.
Army said,
Not today.
Army said, yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Question number 3.
From the 636, what is your favorite hobby outside of sports?
Oh, wow. Hobby. What do I do, Anthony? I don't really do anything else. That's not true. I do a lot of stuff. Is drinking a hobby?
What would you consider?
Come on.
What would you consider a hobby?
Fishing?
That's not sports
fishing.
related.
That's a good hobby.
Though.
Boating? Is that a hobby?
No?
Is it?
No, yeah, it is. It's not sports related.
I mean, I love boating.
Unless you're competitive.
Not really. I'm not out there
speed boating.
competing. No, I like to just get on the lake.
Yeah.
I like to be out on the lake. I do. I love it. Grew up on the lake. So for me, going back to the lake is just my zen. I'm so busy with other stuff. I don't really have a hobby.
I wish I had more time to do it, but I do love mowing the grass and
but that's not a hobby.
landscaping
It's just kind of
and things like that.
a chore.
Yeah.
Not to me, guys. That's
What
me.
about,
Find great peace in it.
What about working out?
Yeah, working
Is that a
out.
hobby?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
think
say
so.
Well, then that's my hobby. I like that. I enjoy it.
I do too.
I do as well.
Why wouldn't taking care of the house be essentially a hobby?
I don't know. Someone said, Jamie, collecting Speedos. You're not wrong.
That is a hobby of yours.
That collection is growing.
I also love I get down the rabbit hole sometimes for researching history. Like the JFK assassination or something like that. Going down that rabbit hole and diving into historical events that happen. They got to be specific or historical events.
I guess I have
the end of the dinosaurs, what
Yeah.
happened, stuff like that.
I don't know if this is a hobby, but I like going to see like midnight premiere movies.
So
Not at midnight,
movies would be the hobby.
Yeah, seeing movies.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to go see Oppenheimer
Okay.
coming up here soon.
I hear that that's supposed to be like really good.
I don't
That's
know
what I've heard.
I don't know what Oppenheimer is. What is it?
Really? It's about the guy who basically invented the atomic bomb.
Oh,
Yeah. It's like a biopic of him, directed by Christopher Nolan.
no kidding.
Yeah, so it should be a good
The
one.
original Batman.
Not the original Batman.
Christopher Nolan, didn't he do
Well, that's not the original Batman.
with Michael Keaton?
No, he did the one with Heath Ledger. That's The Dark Knight. Batman Begins.
Who did the original?
That would be Tim Burton.
Tim Burton did the original one. Thank you,
From
Marshy.
the 573.
My bad.
He goes, private message me, Staltz. I got some landscaping for you to do.
I could use the money. I don't, but yeah, that's a
it's
good
your
call.
hobby. You don't get paid for a hobby.
Anthony's fingers have been hurting lately.
You know what my favorite hobby is to get paid for? Landscaping and mowing and things like that.
Yeah. I didn't know you were going there. But that's what I thought ultimately.
Anthony, we're pressed for time, but I have one more question from the 618, and it has to do with quarterbacks. Should we get into it?
Yes. Next on
Question
101
number
ESPN.
4.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
I just took our Pathfinder to Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum last week, and I'm just always pleasantly surprised by how many vehicles that Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum has on the lot. I mean, they tell me they have 700 vehicles on the lot, whether you're looking at new Nissans or certified pre-owned vehicles. It looks like they have so much more. I mean, whatever you're looking for, make, model, whether you're looking at a Nissan Pathfinder like we're driving here in the Stalter household, or Nissan Altima, Nissan Titan, Nissan Rogue, they've got them. They've got great deals going on all the time, and they've got a way to finance a vehicle too. That was one of the things that was important to us. Okay, how can we get a reliable vehicle for our family, our young family, and to also fit it within the budget? And Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum, they delivered both. They showed us the Pathfinder. The sales environment it's fun because it's supposed to be fun when you're buying a new vehicle. But the financing option, we got to the financing, they made it so easy. Whether you have good credit or bad credit, they'll take care of you. They'll give you the free nationwide lifetime warranty and the 30-day return promise as well. It's all available at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. Go see them today and tell them Stalter sent you. 2, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. So we shocked Marsh by not doing the rest of the sports six-pack there. He said he had a quarterback question. Hey, why not, right? Why don't we carry that puppy over? So what's your question?
Yeah, it's from the 618. Seriously, answer this. I have a question, and please talk about this. In the NFL, if a quarterback like Desmond Ridder was traded in the draft for a first and a second, then they draft an average quarterback, but then Ridder goes and wins an MVP, that GM would be fired and ousted from the NFL. Well, Mo did that essentially with Randy A., Alcantara, and Gallen. So why isn't he fired? But given excuses.
Well, have you seen Sandy Alcantara today? I wouldn't want that guy.
No.
Give up 4 runs in the first inning.
First of all,
What did you do after that?
First
of
inning,
all,
Anthony.
let's talk about this. Desmond Ridder winning the MVP.
Yeah, and he's
In
going
what-
for
in
a
what
1 and
universe?
2, and he's going for a 1 and 2.
What universe?
I understand the nature of the question. Mozeliak's got a track record. That's the difference. And you may not like the track record, but the DeWitt family is very loyal to their guys, whether you think it's right or wrong, very loyal to their guys. Tony was here for a long time. Of course, Tony had a good track record.
He's a winner.
He is certainly a winner. But it's not like Tony didn't have any lean years either. The Cardinals.
Bite your freaking tongue.
Okay. The Cardinals, to me, if you want to do the crossover comparison with football, the Cardinals, to me, have always been either one of 2 franchises, the Steelers or the Packers. And I've compared them to the Packers.
Did Marty Schottenheimer ever?
No,
Okay,
never
just
made
making
their
sure
way.
I can cross those off my list.
Never made their way. Yeah, made his way to there. But the Steelers have long been the organization that does not get rid of head coaches quickly. They when they hire you, they believe in you, they give you what you need, and they support you throughout. Bill Cowher was there for a long time without winning a Super Bowl. Don't forget, he won a Super Bowl and retired. He was there a long time. A lot of people pushed against it. He'll never get it done. He'll never get it done. Never get it done. He got it done, won it. Then they replace him with Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin has been there for a long time as well. And he's won himself a Super Bowl. There's other teams that they cycle through coaches and GMs quickly. Every 4 years, they're going through it. Well, every time you do that, you get that fresh bump as a fan base because you're excited it's something new. But what else are you doing? You're replacing your roster a lot of times. You're trying to reestablish the culture. And then you're supposed to win. It's very difficult. So I don't blame the Cardinals or the Steelers or the Packers for saying, we believe in our guys until we're given a reason not to. That's what happened with Matheny. That's really what happened with Mike Matheny. Mike Matheny had some years where you could tell the team was getting worse. Made it to the World Series, then the NLCS, then the NLDS, then the wild card, then they missed the playoffs. And then all of a sudden you started to hear about some of the things going on in the clubhouse. And I felt, and I said at the time, that there was a point where DeWitt finally said, I can no longer protect you. I can't make up for what's going on here. Mm-hmm. So he was let go. Should he have done the same thing with Mo? Maybe. But when you look at the track record for Mo, wins the World Series in 11. World Series roster in 2013. Yes, he had the same track record as Matheny, but then you get to an NLCS in 2019. You navigate the team through the pandemic. It is only recently where the pitching staff has really fallen off. Why is the pitching staff falling off? Because they knew they needed more offense. Can you explain away some of these things? Even the Ozuna trade. Can you explain that one? Yeah. Giving up Sandy Alcantara and Zach Gallen in that deal certainly hurt. Do you know the player everybody talked about the most, though? If we're going to do the revisionist history thing, and let's be honest about this as Cardinals fans, do you know the player that everybody talks about the most?
Jose.
Magneuris Sierra.
Oh.
Mags. Oh, you gave up Mags. Everybody talked about Magneuris Sierra because they had just seen him in spring training. He was exciting. He was fast. And, you just gave away a promising outfielder. He's done nothing at the big league level. But now, of course, now that we've seen the results of everything, why did you give up Zach Gallen? Why did you give up Sandy Alcantara for 2 years of Ozuna? They didn't want Ozuna. They wanted Stanton and they wanted Yelich. Stanton told them to get bent, and the Marlins told them to get bent on Yelich. So they wound up with Ozuna. Laughably a Gold Glover, but somebody who also had a brief track record there offensively of putting up some big-time numbers. They wanted him to pair with Goldschmidt so they didn't ruin the back half of Goldschmidt's career. Can you explain some of those things? You can. Was it ultimately a bad move? 100%. But I don't think just saying, well, he should have been fired based on that move alone. I think that's reactionary, and I think if we're being honest, we're emotional right now because our Cardinals are in shambles, and we want somebody to pay for it.
If that's the mentality that we're going to have, then Doug Armstrong should have been fired too.
Yes.
A number of times.
Yes.
Because not everything that Army's done has been perfect.
Right.
He's made a lot of great moves, but think about some of it.
I remember the Kevin Shattenkirk deal. I was infuriated at the time that infuriated. Furious.
You were furious. I screw up words all the time, so we're just. Yeah. I'm just. Yeah.
You
sometimes
you
help me,
which really makes it weird that you're the one trying to correct.
No, Jamie. You help me on this.
Feel better?
Marsh helps me on this. I'm helping him. I'm going to screw up a word. It's probably in the Gauntlet.
I feel like that was a really weird time for you to do it, though.
Marsh?
That would infuriate me if you did that.
Well done.
Nice.
That would infuriate me.
I don't know what that means. By the way, it was a defensive end, not a first rounder. I goofed on that one. So do you think Ritter could go for a defensive end and a second rounder?
Yeah, I think he could get a fourth round backup defensive end. Yeah, somebody would give that up for Ritter. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Does any of this make sense? By the way?
Anthony, you're making a ton of sense.
Yeah, you're awesome.
I mean, you sat there. You haven't listened.
Let's be honest. When they traded, maybe not Sandy Alcantara.
You're Googling something.
I am.
Maybe not Sandy Alcantara, but how many people do you think knew who Zach Gallen was?
Not
like
many.
The average Cardinal fan.
No, he was a fourth round pick. He was like it's like the 20th ranked prospect or something in the organization. It wasn't a good trade. It wasn't. But at the time, everybody was bitching. You didn't have enough offense.
But every GM/president has the hits and misses.
Yes.
Go through the history of time. Not one GM has never screwed up. It's impossible. It's impossible. Now, the key for Mo at this point is this is the crescendo moment. Like, now he has to perform. Now he has to right the ship. Like, so Army, whether Army letting Petro walk or losing certain players or trading the wrong guy, all of that came to a head this year when the team was not good. And Army knew how to respond. He made some really solid moves, and he's got this team set up now for a really quick retool on the fly. I think that's what Cardinal Nation wants from John Mozeliak is now's your time to perform. Yes. Now's the time to make the decisions. Now's the time to get a little crazy, think outside the box, and change what we're looking at. So we'll see. We'll know after the deadline how this team is trending.
And I wonder what Cardinal fans are thinking. If Mo does do a really good job, he's going to be in place for the rest of his contract, which means a lot of fans that want him gone.
He's going to be anyways, Marshy, I can tell you.
Well, let's just play the game here for a second.
All right.
A lot of fans probably don't want him in his position anymore, but if he does a pretty knockout job here at the deadline and going into the next year, gets his team back to where they should be, he's going to be around for a while. Ollie's probably going to be here for a while. So I wonder how Cardinal fans are feeling right now. Do they want Mo to essentially screw up so maybe he's out and they can get a new regime in? Or do they want him to essentially get this team back to where it should be and then he's still in place for the foreseeable future?
It's an interesting question. It is. I'll say this. We'll end here. I know I probably ticked off a lot of people in what I was saying and breaking down the Mo stuff.
Especially Jamie.
Especially Jamie and especially people that just want us to holler about the terrible job Mo has done and he should be fired. I'll say this. Just from my standpoint, if Mo botches this deadline, I will be the first person, at least on these airwaves, to say he needs to step down. I agree with Jamie. I do not think that he's going to be fired. But if he botches this deadline, holding on to guys, getting, single A, guys that are in single A and they're outfielders or they're infielders that he wants to turn in outfield, I will say, hey, it's time. It's time. It's done. Because this, I think, is a golden opportunity.
But why would he step down?
He's not.
If he made those decisions and trades and acquisitions, it's because he thinks that's the right.
That's what I'm
solution.
saying for myself.
But then he won't step down.
He's not.
Because he'd be like, no, I made those decisions knowingly. Like, I wanted that.
He'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, I'm just saying for those that I just ticked off for the last 10 minutes.
For his resignation.
Yes.
Because
I think people.
Will you start an official
They just want us to say that.
Anthony?
No.
Will you go door to door and get people to sign it?
No, because that's useless.
What?
Yeah,
somebody's doing that. If you handed that to the DeWitts and you had 1,200 signatures,
they would. I'll tell you what they would do. They would. I would say, hey, Anthony Stalter, 101 ESPN here. I got a petition, and I got people that signed this sumbitch. All right, please fire this guy. All right. They would look at me and they go, who are you?
I would love to see it, though.
What is this?
I like.
Are you selling
some of
Girl
the
Scout
signatures?
Cookies? What is this?
In crayon. That would be great.
Yeah. I got the first three will be my kids. And Killian writes his name like huge, so most of it will be that size.
I honestly want you to do that now.
Yeah.
Let's go start a petition. Any petition, Anthony.
Has any petition? I mean, I'm sure in the history of time, petitions actually worse. But you ever get those? You're like, yeah, I'll sign this. Look at you. You got nothing going on.
I always sign a fictitious name.
It's like, here you go. You got nothing going on with your life, do you?
I always sign a fictitious name.
Somebody.
Like Gordie Howe.
Holy crap, Susie. You got Gordie Howe on here.
Have you ever seen the movie Slapshot?
Yes.
Okay, so Reggie Dunlop, the player coach, Paul Newman's character. Yeah. Reggie Dunlop has signed so many things in my lifetime. People feel like, hey, oh, yeah, here you go. Reggie Dunlop.
There we go.
Take care.
You'd be good now.
Yeah.
All right, it's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We're going to play Are You Sold? Are You Sold on certain ideas next on 101 ESPN? The Missouri Athletic Club, Jamie, is outstanding for a lot of reasons. One reason specifically, we were just talking about hobbies, and one of the hobbies that I have is working out, right? Well, go down to the Missouri Athletic Club, the West Clubhouse. It's a perfect spot. They revamped that clubhouse there, or the gym in the clubhouse a couple of years ago, and I love it. They got more space in there, more equipment. They're always listening to club members. How can we improve the facilities, whether it's a downtown spot or the West Clubhouse? I love being a club member of the Missouri Athletic Club. That's Miami C. Time to play Are You Sold here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So let's play it. What do you got for us, Marsh?
All right, let's start off. Are you sold on the Cardinals making a second half push? They are 4-1 since the break and have won 7 of their last 9 games.
Wow.
A push to at least be considered a playoff team? Like that, like a wild card team at least?
Make the playoffs, yeah.
Yes.
You're sold on them. I was not expecting to hear that.
I did not expect that from him.
Well, you can still sell and then also get back into the race. This division
but
sucks.
Anthony, you've compared them to hot garbage several times.
They have been hot garbage. I think we need to say that. Everybody's got hurt feelings about this, you know? How could you call our Cardinals hot garbage? Or how could you call us hot? You have been. You have been hot garbage. But I think you're going to play like not hot garbage in the second half. And I think teams like the Reds and the Cubs and the Brewers, after they trade Corbin Burns or somebody, they're going to wave the white flag even though they're in first place. It's going to happen. We've seen that. So, yeah, I think those teams are going to play like hot garbage. I think the Cardinals are going to sneak back in this. They're the Cardinals. They always do this crap.
Yeah.
You're welcome, St. Louis.
What leads me to believe that they could get back into this is just the games that they do have against divisional opponents. Like, I think they've got 8 against the Cubs before the trade deadline. Like, I know the Cubs aren't in first place, but they are sitting there in third right now. You're, 2.5 games back of the Cubs. You have 8 games against those guys. You could find yourself in second place by maybe second, but certainly third, pushing for second by the deadline.
So you're feeling the dance?
I am.
You're feeling the flow?
But I'm only feeling the flow, Anthony, if they continue down the path of making this right by addressing what they need with the pitching staff. I'm not feeling the flow if they want to add Lance Lynn and Rich Hill at the deadline and make a push for it.
Agreed. Completely agree, Jamie.
I take Lance Lynn for next year. Although he's going to want $20 million. I can't give him that.
I'll give him 6 an incentive.
6. Listen,
He's not coming back here.
give him 6.
I don't think he was happy. I have no intimate knowledge of this. I just don't think he was happy the way things kind of wound up. So
I don't think he was at all. I think he liked playing in St. Louis. I think he wasn't happy with the way things went down. But that's a whole different regime.
Sure.
You know?
Are you guys sold on the Ravens winning the AFC North? Faro Analytics has the Ravens winning the North with 11.5 wins. This same model predicted the past 2 Super Bowl champions.
Really? I'm a big Baltimore Ravens believer. Now that they got the Lamar Jackson situation done, they got the contract, he's happy. More importantly, or just as important, I shouldn't say more importantly, just as importantly, they got an actual offensive coordinator in there, somebody that is going to, not have the same routes run on the exact opposite sides where defenses can diagnose it in a heartbeat and have Lamar just run around and do his thing before he gets hurt, and then you blame Lamar. Yeah. Things like that. So I think Todd Monken, adding him, the defense is still very good. I like this Ravens team.
Do you like them to be first place?
Yes.
I don't.
I don't either.
I don't.
Bengals lost a lot, gentlemen.
They still have a guy named Joe Burrow.
What's he done?
Well, he got a team to the Super Bowl with no offensive line. I thought that was pretty good. Literally, the most sacked quarterback
What else has he
in
done?
NFL history.
Well, when you hold the ball as long as he does, you're going to get sacked.
Their offensive line was Anthony when he was blocking for flag football.
I played well.
Yeah.
Hungover. I was hungover that day.
Yeah, well.
I was.
It's your best game.
It really was. Yeah.
Just saying.
Nobody got through me. Of course, I think I smelled. So
Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals for that one.
Are you sold on Netflix's Untold documentary Volume 3? This will feature Jake Paul, Johnny Manziel, Barry Bonds, and Urban Meyer's Florida Gators.
What
We're
is
getting
this?
4 different documentaries about all 4 of these people and, of course, team that I mentioned.
So you know that Danbury Trashers?
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
That's an Untold.
Oh,
documentary.
yeah, I'm in.
So
I'm
these
in
guys,
for all,
I'm in for all of everything you just said.
except for
I agree.
Jake Paul?
So Jake Paul.
I'm still in for
And
that.
his
I want to see how
boxing.
he's done what, because
he's boxed well, right?
he was just a YouTube kind of weirdo,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden he just evolved. Like he's a major player in the boxing game.
Is he good I know he's won his fights.
He's fine.
Okay.
But what he's done, though, is he has shown the boxers, the fighters, about how much money they can actually make. And he's kind of called out the whole industry. And now boxers are getting more money on promotions that he's running with his company. Guys are getting paid more money. And he's like, well, how am I able to pay these guys more money? How is that possible that I can do it and De La Hoya can't do it and this promotion over here can't do it? It's basically the dirty business of boxing.
Okay. I'm interested in that. I would love to see boxing make a huge comeback. Nothing against UFC. I know UFC is wildly popular. I'm not doing the whole UFC versus boxing. I'm just talking about me personally, growing up in an era, watching Mike Tyson.
I know.
And watching some of the 90s boxers. Holy crap.
Those
I used
guys
to
are gone,
love it.
Anthony.
I know
the problem with boxing right
Tyson's
now.
alive.
Yeah, but he's out of the sport. Kind of, unless you're Ray Jones Jr. want to fight him. But the problem with boxing right now is their biggest selling fights are novelty fights. Like you have Tyson Fury who draws, was it Wilder and Fury had a couple of good fights. That was mega bucks there, but that's the two best in the game, right? Problem right now is all of the undercards or the novelty boxing matches are making the money, like McGregor, Mayweather.
Right.
Now you got Francis Ngannou, who's going to fight Tyson Fury. That's going to be huge. Jake Paul is making all this money because he's a novelty fight.
Sure.
And people want to see like something different because boxing has gotten boring.
Well, we need the next Tyson.
I agree.
Should it be me?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
You're fine.
I'll start training.
Yeah. I saw you doing a couple of jumping jacks. You're good to go.
Yeah. All right.
By the way, Thanks Dad says, I would like to see briefs make a huge comeback.
Briefs?
What about boxer briefs?
Boxer briefs.
I wear boxer briefs.
So do I.
Little tight ones there. Yeah.
That keeps everything in check for you.
I need it all. I need the landing gear tucked up.
Absolutely.
It's like a little holster.
Plus it's not.
Thank you.
I don't want to wear like boxers. I don't want to wear shorts basically, and then jeans. I mean, come on.
Boxers for me had my landing gear just banging around
Just
everywhere.
everywhere.
And I was like, I don't really need that.
I want my landing gear to be banging around at certain times, not all.
Not
the
when
time.
I'm walking.
Exactly.
Correct, Anthony.
Yeah.
By the way, the Urban Meyer Florida Gators one.
Oh, it's gonna
his
be
team
phenomenal.
with
Tebow,
Aaron Hernandez, all those
boy.
guys.
Awesome.
Should be fun.
Have you guys watched I don't think it was an Untold, but it's the Aaron Hernandez Netflix documentary.
That was on during COVID.
There's like two
Outstanding.
different ones.
Yeah.
There's two
I
of
haven't
them.
seen the
I've seen them
second one.
both.
There was like an ESPN one, I think, and then there was
The Netflix had it.
where they dove into his going all the way back to his childhood and his dad passing and how much that impacted what happened. His brother played for UConn. He's a quarterback at UConn. They're from Bristol,
right?
And he thought everybody kind of thought, well, he'll just follow, go to his UConn with his brother. Urban Meyer gets involved. Father tragically passes away. There's a lot of things that were kind of set in motion with Aaron Hernandez that were fascinating that were brought out in that documentary.
Last one here. Are you sold on the Angels not dealing Ohtani at the deadline?
No, they're going to trade him.
They have to.
Yeah.
You have to. You can want to hang on to him, but if you're going to try and hang on to him, you better offer him that 600 or 700 million right now.
I agree.
And he might still say, I'm good.
I'm more of the mindset that they could trade him and then make a serious push. I don't think he goes back, but I'm more of the mindset of they trade him and then try to make a serious push in the offseason to get him back.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be a fool not to.
Right. All right, we're going to play Around the Horn next on 101 ESPN.
All right, guys, listen up here. Low testosterone is a real thing, and it happens to all males. Whether you're 20, 30, 40, or older, it's bound to happen. It is what it is. Now, getting control of that is what you got to do, and that's why you go visit my friends at Mentality. Their board-certified physicians will sit you down, and they'll do a complete physical examination, and they'll talk about what your expectations are, answer any questions that you have. Then they do the blood panel, and the blood panel tells everyone exactly what you need to know. And for me, it was low testosterone and deficient in a couple of other vitamins. So every week now, including today, I was there today and, got my medicine that they hooked me up with, and I feel great. And my guy Anthony, he's been on Mentality with me. We go together sometimes. He's been feeling great. Man, you should see the work he does around this office. It's night and day. And if you want to feel as good as Anthony and I do, go visit Mentality. Tell him Jamie Rivers sent you in. If you want more information, you can check him out at lowtusa.com. Again, that's lowtusa.com.
.101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cards looking for the sweep today as they lead the Marlins 6-2 last night. A barn burner of a game as Nolan Arenado, a 3-run shot in the 10th for a walk-off winner. The Cardinals currently lead 6-2 at the end of 7. We'll give you the recap of that one once it is done right here in the Fast Lane. We've been talking Cardinals baseball all day long. If you've missed any of our conversations today, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the 101 mobile app. You can find the full show there. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Let's play Around the Horn here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. What do you got for us, Marshy?
Yeah, we're going to go over a few of the players on the team, but let's start with Wilson Contreras, who is not in today's lineup. He's batting .365 in his last 15 games, 3 home runs, 6 runs batted in. Is this version of Contreras at the plate worth the amount of money that you signed him for?
Not this version, no. I think that the version, his career norms, yes. This specific version of his entire season, no. But his career norms, yes.
What about this last stretch of games?
Definitely. Yeah. You paid him to be a difference maker. Along with Goldschmidt, offensively, you paid him to be a difference maker. Mm-hmm. Along with Goldschmidt and Arenado. Has Wilson Contreras been the guy all season that hits fifth, in that group? No. At times, absolutely. In fact, he could at one point maybe even be your 3-hitter. I don't know if Newt is your best 3-hitter. Good overall, but not. I like that Goldschmidt, Contreras, Arenado when all 3 are going.
Yeah, no kidding. So, yeah, I would agree with you, Anthony.
This is tricky when it comes to, we just had this conversation essentially with Jordan Montgomery. It's tricky when you start to talk about, well, is he worth that money?
Right.
It's a separate conversation to me. I swear, Anthony, it's not a cop-out.
What did Andrew Brandt say?
You're worth what somebody's willing to pay you.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Let's go with Nolan Arenado next. He, of course, had the walk-off home run last night. Heading into this one, he's batting .358 in his last 15 games. Those 5 home runs, 15 runs batted in. Today, he is 2 for 4 with an RBI. Are we seeing another example of the offense going as Nolan Arenado goes?
Ooh, I wouldn't say it that way. I would actually say we're seeing this offense deliver what it's capable of doing. This is the ability of the entire offense. Nolan Gorman is going off today. Arenado's had a really great stretch. Wilson Contreras has had a nice stretch. Brendan Donovan has a nice stretch. Jamie, at one point, I think you said this recently, when this offense is firing on all cylinders, there's not an obvious out outside of Paul DeJong with runners in scoring position and a double play opportunity there. Outside of that, this offense is excellent. I don't think there's any doubt.
I agree. The best part about it doesn't always have to be Goldie or Arenado.
Right.
Where, a couple of years ago, even last year for a big part of it was how they go, the offense goes. Mm-hmm. And if they're not going, your offense is screwed.
Very true.
Yeah.
Let's get into another Nolan Gorman, who had a home run earlier today. Now he has a 5-game hitting streak. Heading into this one, he had 7 hits in his last 7 games. He's up that to 9. And heading into this game, he had 5 ribbies with 1 home run. Are you starting to see signs of April in Nolan Gorman? And now, with his name sort of being floated out there in trade rumors, would you keep on to Nolan Gorman? So you want it?
I would hold on to Nolan Gorman, yes. Yeah.
Depending on what the return is. So, if it's Dylan Cease, I think I'd trade him. I mean, I would.
Yeah.
So there is, there's always a price.
Sure. But
if it's just in some of these other trades where we're just trying to acquire young prospect that we're not sure of, and I'd look for somebody else to trade. I think I'm going to hang on to this kid. He's had a real solid season. Mm-hmm. He's got so much raw power. He's a difference maker with the flick of the wrist. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Outside of pitching, starting pitching, young power lefties, I'm not getting rid of that. Not one bit.
Who's his comp then? He's been inconsistent this year. Who would you compare him to from, another team?
Ooh. I think he's got the ability overall to maybe, I'll just go right off the top of my head here. Man, he's a right-hander. Sorry. So I was thinking of like Ryan Mountcastle of Baltimore, but
he's a 30 to 40 home run guy, so it doesn't matter if it's a righty or a lefty that you're comparing him to. Do you know what I'm saying?
Ryan Mountcastle's the guy that I initially thought of from Baltimore. Somebody that's got legit power. Could be an RBI guy for it, depending on what's...
What about like Schwarber?
Schwarber's a great one, sure. Yeah.
I'm just thinking like the power. You know.
Yep. Yeah. Schwarber's a great one, and obviously he's lefty. So
yeah.
That works.
Well,
Jamie wins.
The Schwarber comp, as we established months ago, is Alec Burleson. If you remember that conversation.
Yeah, very true.
We get a text from the Air Comfort text line.
Whoa.
From the
Air Comfort sex line?
Wow.
When did we change?
I don't know, but I'm in.
Oh.
We can sell.
Oh, boy.
This staff can sell anything, Anthony.
Yeah, they can.
My goodness.
They're working hard.
From the
bet
Air
they are.
Comfort text line, the 636 says, I almost feel Donovan has more value to this team. He goes, the offense goes. So let's bring up Brendan Donovan here. Heading into this game, he's batting .350 in his last 30 games, an OBP of .424 in his last 30 games.
How many home runs, Marshy?
11 home runs.
Yeah.
Is Brendan Donovan making a guy like Tommy Edman tradable?
Oh, wow. How about we get into that? We kind of had this conversation yesterday, but in regards to a different player.
I was going to say, Brendan Donovan's success kind of makes a couple of guys expendable.
Well, Jamie, let's talk about it next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So, Marsh, you laid it out there. There was a texter that said, hey, Brendan Donovan goes, the offense goes.
Basically said Brendan Donovan is Mike Trout.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
Really what he was saying there.
What, injured all the time?
Wow.
Because I don't think he is.
We said Brendan Donovan was better than Mike Trout.
Oh, gotcha.
Is, I think, what he said. Anyways, we were having a conversation yesterday about Dylan Carlson and whether or not you trade him, assuming you're getting pitching. My question is, you've got, because we did the experiment, right? We're like,
whoa,
hey, offensively, no, different on-air experiment, Jamie.
All right.
Where we were talking about, hey, let's put together this lineup or this construction, defensive construction here. Let's see how different things are going to look post-deadline. Mason Wynn was the only guy that we thought, like, hey, come on up, bring him up. Everything, nothing else changed.
This lineup's going to look extremely different.
Right, I was a fool.
Now I remember.
And the biggest reason in that case why I was a fool, Jamie, is I completely forgot about Tommy Edman coming back and likely being your everyday center fielder. And when that happens, you've got Donovan to serve, you've got Edman to serve, you've got Newt, Walker in the outfield. So here's your question. Does Brendan Donovan and Tommy Edman make Dylan Carlson expendable? Or does Donovan and Edman make each other, one of the other, expendable?
Wow.
For pitching, of course.
I think the answer is yes to all of it. Mm-hmm. Quite honestly, I think they're all expendable. Now, that being said, if I had to put it in power rankings,
yeah,
I think I would actually go Donovan, Carlson, Edman. Hear me out. How old is Tommy Edman?
26.
26, 27, right? Yeah. Dylan Carlson's 24. Got a lot of team control on a player that just, like, he's still so young.
Mm-hmm.
He plays center field.
Tommy Edman's 28.
So you get 4 years. What could Dylan Carlson be? Like, we're getting glimpses of it here in the last couple of games. Mm-hmm. It's like, if this is what he can be, like, he doesn't have to be a superstar. I guess it goes back to your argument then to the thought of, well, Edman can play anywhere on the diamond. Mm-hmm. Carlson can't. No, he can't, but he can play anywhere in the outfield.
Yeah.
And if you hang on to Brendan Donovan, and let's say Tommy Edman's the one you trade, Donovan is Edman. Donovan is why Edman can be traded, because you have another guy who play any position. So, again, if I do the power rankings of how I view them, Donovan at number 1, Dylan Carlson at number 2, and Tommy Edman at number 3. Mm. And I really like Tommy Edman. I don't really want to trade him, but I like winning baseball games, and I like good pitchers.
Yeah. See, this all makes me think of Newt, too.
Oh, you throw Newt right in this mix.
If Newt can get you starting pitching, and I don't mean the 4A type starting pitching. I mean somebody
Anthony,
that.
Where's my guy here?
Logan Gilbert.
Guy.
Yeah, Logan Gilbert's been the talk of the station here.
So Logan Gilbert with the Seattle Mariners, mm-hmm. and BK had a Fangraphs like hottest trade value or most trade value. I'm screwing that up somehow.
Yeah,
but he was like basically number 33. Newt was in the low 40s. So I'm looking at that going, if the Seattle Mariners want to make some kind of a trade, and let's say they want some offense, they want a Newt bar in the outfield for whatever reason, or maybe they want a Tommy Edman, I don't know, but I would easily trade any one of those 4 guys. So maybe not Donovan. Maybe hang on to Donovan a little bit here. I think you can get the deal done with either Carlson, Newt bar, or Edman, and then you throw in a McGreevy, or you throw in Graceffo. But then you've got a guy, as far as your pitching is concerned, to where you got a young stud that's cost controlled. He's a number 2 right now, but he's still so young. I'm trying to find him here, Anthony. Where the hell is he? Oh, that's because I'm looking at the wrong team. Oh, that's great.
Who'd you look up, Jamie?
Well, I got Seattle here, but I'm not looking at the wrong team. I'm looking at the wrong position. I'm looking at position players. Here we go. Logan Gilbert. Yeah, he's 26 years old, 6'6", 215, 111 strikeouts, 1.01 whip.
He's going to cost you.
He is. But what would you give for him? Like the discussion earlier today was like the Gorman, the Wynn, that whole experiment. And I don't fault them for throwing those around because that's kind of where our brains have been at. But the Mariners, not that they're in win now mode, but they kind of are. Like they're right there.
Yeah.
They're going to want players that are MLB players. I'm not giving up Gorman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Logan Gilbert's worth a Gorman.
Well, I think he probably would be. But I think giving up Gorman hurts. You have got outfield. You've kind of got some outfield depth here. So would the Mariners accept?
Well, what do they have in the outfield, Anthony?
They're more loaded in the outfield than they are in the infield.
Okay, so then
they got Julio Rodriguez, they got Kelnick, they've got Dylan Moore, and they've got Teoscar Hernandez, who they acquired from Toronto.
So let me ask you this then.
Sure.
Let's say the Mariners come to you with a trade offer of Mason Wynn, Dylan Carlson. Let me take that back because they don't need the outfielder. So Mason Wynn and Graceffo for Logan Gilbert.
So I'm giving up my starting shortstop of the future, potentially.
But you still have Donovan, Edman, and technically DeYoung. You could bring him back for another year.
Yeah. Well, I'd move Edman back to short and be done with it.
Well, that's fine. So you got Tommy Edman, who was a Gold Glove nominee at shortstop.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to do it.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
If I don't have starting pitching, I don't have anything.
I would do it in a heartbeat because you do have other guys who can play the shortstop position.
Boy, that hurts.
Oh, no.
The ceiling for Mason Wynn is, it is high, right?
What about Graceffo, though? What if
but hear me out.
He could be
How old is Graceffo?
that guy.
How old is Graceffo? Because I'm trying
young.
to. How old?
22.
Yeah.
22. Okay, so Gilbert.
I think he might be younger than that.
Gilbert's 26. So it's not like you're acquiring a young player, but you're not acquiring an old guy either. You got a lot of runway left on this Logan Gilbert player.
Yeah.
Mason Wynn, undetermined what he'll be able to do at the major league level. He will be a very good major league player. Will he be?
Graceffo's 23.
So okay, so let's make
has the same birthday, I think, as Jamie.
So Graceffo,
I can't trade him then.
guys, stay in the damn conversation.
Okay.
Graceffo is an unproven major league pitcher.
Right.
He's 3 years younger, which is not that much of a difference, but you're getting a number two, an established number two pitcher for your rotation. The hurt is Mason Wynn. I don't think Graceffo's the hurt.
No, I agree because you're trading the 3 years of Graceffo potentially because he could also be Dakota Hudson
or Jake Woodford.
Offense, Dak or Jake Woodford
or Matthew Liberatore
or Matthew Liberatore.
Yes,
man.
Yeah. So like a Liberatore, O'Neill, DeYoung package wouldn't do it for the Mariners.
No, it wouldn't.
All right.
Although I like where your head's at, Anthony. Mostly,
But
watch it?
So why not trade for, instead of Mason Wynn, why not trade for Tommy Edman, who's a shortstop? He's a switch hitter.
I don't think Tommy Edman's value is enough.
Well, then add another player into that. Because you have Tommy Edman, who's proved that he can be a good ball player at the major league level.
Wow.
He can be a shortstop.
Oh, I would do that in a heartbeat, but I agree with Jamie. He's 28.
I think Seattle goes, no, go kick rocks. No.
But you just said they're in a slightly win now mode. How does Mason Wynn help that?
Well, because I bet you if you bring him up, I think Mason Wynn could play right now. He play right now.
Well, I would agree with you.
He's roadblocked here in
his
St. Louis.
defense is good. His hitting could be better.
Marsh does bring up a good point, though. If you're the Mariners, why trade Logan Gilbert?
Right.
If you're not getting major league talent like right now.
So I would even throw Graceffo in there, throw Edman in there, and throw an outfield piece. Maybe Burleson, who's you get a lefty bat.
They're not going to want Burleson.
Yeah, you'd be shocked.
Who wouldn't want Burleson?
Guys, he's not getting
the lefty power bat.
He's not getting the deal done. He's not. Like
they
you just
need
said
a DH
yourself.
too.
Do they?
Yeah. They got
Why?
AJ Pollock as their DH.
All right. I'm more willing to listen to that. I'm not willing to listen to an outfielder who they clearly don't need, let alone Alec Burleson, who's
a DH for him.
That's fine.
Yeah, you just got to believe a little bit. Okay, so we saved Wynn.
We
and
did.
We got,
That's what I'm
and we
saying.
got
That's what I'm
Logan
saying.
Gilbert.
Yeah.
Fast lane.
No, I don't think the deal goes through.
Fast lane. Fast lane. We did it.
I'm not buying into that because that deal does not happen. Seattle
I think we just did it.
I'm writing it down.
Hey,
what time
Marshy.
is it?
Yeah.
3:55,
Marshy.
You don't think another team is going to be able to offer more than that crap you guys just put together?
Crap. We got Tommy Edman, who's a Gold Glover.
And he'll be gone in a year. Free agent.
Burleson is the next Kyle Schwarber.
And he'll be gone in a year.
No,
Tommy Edman.
No, you sign that guy long term.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, be him and J.P. Crawford right up the middle.
Okay.
Right in your face all day long. Twice
and
on
he
Sundays.
can play outfield.
And he can play outfield
He's
for
a
you if you
very
need it.
versatile person.
So, despite Jamie's disgust, I think we did a great job today.
Here's one quick question for you.
Sure.
Tommy Edman, the team has said, oh, yeah, we like Tommy Edman, center field.
Yeah,
in my opinion, feel like that is a problem. That means you don't have an established center fielder. Is that a position that this team should look at in the offseason? Like Tommy Edman should not be your center fielder heading into 2020.
Why not?
You have Dylan Carlson.
And you
Dylan
got
Carlson's a good center fielder.
And you got Wynn.
Andy,
and Gorman.
stop it. You're doing that thing again.
Wynn comes up. He's your shortstop, right? Gorman is your second baseman in the future. So where else is going to
I thought you meant put Wynn in center field.
Oh, no.
Yesterday you said put him in left field.
Yeah, but I was joking
Anthony
because
was in left field with his discussion.
That's right.
Yeah, no, but it was the old infield to outfield. It's
Guys,
Cardinals love.
You have your hand up.
Yep.
Jamie.
From the 636. Full disclaimer, they say, I know it's just a simulator, but it shows Logan Gilbert for Nootbaar, Graceffo, Stratton, and McGreevy, to be fair.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't balk at that, but
I don't necessarily want
Mariners-
Graceffo and McGreevy in the deal.
But from the Mariners' standpoint, I know they're doing the simulator to talk about values because that's what we did the other day.
Yeah.
But from the Mariners' standpoint, I don't need another outfielder and two projects as the starting pitchers.
I agree.
I need major league talent.
And
like
if I'm the
Jamie said.
Cardinals, I don't know if I'm including Graceffo and McGreevy.
Right.
Like, the whole problem you're in right now is because you don't have pitching.
Yeah.
You got to keep one of those guys has to be
Right.
a major league starter at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to yell at me, but I agree. Yeah.
I'm not yelling at
It's a fast lane on
Just
101
yelling.
ESPN. We
Yeah,
have
get
the
passionate.
Gauntlets next on 101 ESPN.
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet, where you're more than just a customer, you're family. That's right. The Londoff family in business for over 80 years because they bring you into the family. Right there. I have been a customer for over 20 years, a friend of the family, and absolutely love every time I pop into one of the Londoff Chevrolet locations. Why? Well, they always have something great to look at on the lot. They've got excellent brand new inventory. They get all the newest vehicles, and they also have amazing selection of pre-owned vehicles. And I liked it in the fact now you have two locations. So if you live out west, it's easy. You head up to the Londoff Autoplex. It's located right off of Highway 70 in St. Peters. And the original location, as we all know, is in Florissant, Missouri, right off of Highway 270 there. Both locations are fantastic. The staff is super friendly. They're helpful, and customer service matters for the Londoff Chevrolet team. So please get in there in person. Tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you, and they're going to take care of whatever it is that you're looking for. If you can't get there in person, get there online. It's simple. Go to londoff.com or londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
categories, one challenger. Can you master the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit masstour.com.
.401, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Congratulations to the Cardinals, who just swept the Marlins 6-4. Things got a little hairy in the ninth for Chris Stratton, but he's able to get the job done. And we'll talk about the red-hot Cardinals and why they should buy at the deadline coming up at 4:15. But we've got Cody in for the Gauntlet today. What's up, Cody?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
You doing all right?
Yeah, not too bad.
All right,
Stuck in some traffic, but
Hey, that's all right. Perfect time to play us in the Gauntlet and celebrate the fact that the Cardinals are red hot and probably going to the World Series.
Oh, my.
oh yeah, ready for them to lose tonight. Probably the rest of the series
No.
going forward.
We won't tell.
Yeah.
Cody, who would you like to take on today? Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, or the Anthony Stalter?
Well, I'm a man of my word. I said I was going to take you on, so I think I got you, Anthony.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Did you tell me at some point, Cody, that you were going to beat me?
Oh, I think so. Said something along those lines.
All right.
Oh, wow. So you talking, on the text line. Cody, were you talking smack on the text line?
Just a little bit.
Wow. All right. Well, Cody, good luck to you.
Oh, good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, Anthony, get the heck out of here, please. No, seriously, Anthony. Take your
Grab my sandwich.
take your sandwich and get to the cone of silence.
Okay.
All right, Anthony's making his way to the cone of silence. Cody, there are going to be 4 questions for you. Each question's worth 2 points. If you use the options and answer correctly, you get 1 point. If you get it wrong, well, it's 0 points. What I'm going to need you to do now, Cody, is tell Marshy to spin that wheel.
All right, man. Go ahead, spin that wheel.
All right, Cody, what category do you not want today?
Oh, no hockey.
No hockey?
No hockey.
What do you want?
Football or baseball?
All right, well, I got some good news for you. It's not hockey.
Right.
It's baseball. We got baseball coming at you today. So, as Marshy hands the questions over to me here, we'll get going. You ready to go, Cody?
Sure am. Let's do it.
All right, again, the category is baseball. Question 1. Which team has had the longest win streak in the majors in 2023?
That would be the Tampa Bay Rays. Started the season out hot.
Final answer?
Yes, final answer.
Question number 2. Which player leads Major League Baseball in hits so far this season?
That would be Luis Ariz on the Marlins. Final answer.
All right. Question number 3, Cody. Which university recently won the 2023 College World Series?
Oh, boy. LSU in Florida. I think it was LSU. They had the top 2 picks, so I think that they won it. LSU.
Final answer?
That's it.
All right.
Final question for you. Who has the best slugging percentage in Cardinals history, sitting at .683 in his Cardinals career?
Oh, boy. I got a couple of names floating around in my head. I know it's probably what the options are going to be. I'll take the options.
Options are Albert Pujols, Mark McGwire, or Stan Musial.
Yep, those are the 3 names I had. I'll go with Mark McGwire, because he was here the shortest time. So, Mark McGwire, final answer.
All right, Cody. Let's get Anthony back in here, if we can track him down and see what his sandwich status is. How you feeling, buddy?
Feeling pretty good. Feeling good about those.
All right, good. All right, well, Anthony is plugging his ears back in here now. Anthony, how's the Cone of Silence? It looked busy today.
I went from having nobody in the Cone of Silence to basically everybody. You got T-Bone in there. You got Ryder in there. Carrie from our sales department is in there. They're talking about sales ideas, promotions, things like that.
Kind of jealous. I would have liked to have been a part of that conversation.
Well, not for this show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, you better pack a lunch.
Okay.
Maybe a snack as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Your category today, baseball.
Okay.
Question number 1. Which team has had the longest win streak in the majors in 2023?
The longest win streak in the majors, you say?
This season.
Well, Tampa Bay had the big winning streak at the start. But was there somebody else that had put together a pretty long win streak? The Braves, the Dodgers, the Astros. No. I'm gonna go with it. I feel like I'm overlooking somebody, but I'm gonna go with the Rays. Final answer.
Question number 2. Which player leads Major League Baseball in hits so far this season?
It's gotta be Luis Arraez, right? Huh, everybody? Luis Arraez. Final answer. If it's somebody else, I'm gonna be ticked.
Question number 3, Anthony. Which university recently won the 2023 College World Series?
That was the... Oh, man. Was it Miami? Was it Florida? Oh, we talked about it with the shots and everything. Oh man, Jamie, I'm angry at myself right now. Can I have the options, please? I'm so disappointed in myself.
Was it LSU, Florida, or TCU?
Did Florida beat LSU or did LSU beat Florida? LSU. I think it was LSU. LSU, final answer.
Question number 4. Who has the best slugging percentage in Cardinals history, sitting at .683 in his Cardinals career?
Best slugging percentage. I'm just going to say Albert. Albert, final answer.
All right. Let's go over this. Question number 1. Which team has had the longest win streak in the majors this season? Cody, you said the Tampa Bay Rays. Anthony, you also said the Tampa Bay Rays. Answer is?
It's the Tampa Bay Rays.
Neither of you needed the option.
Nice job, Cody.
The options were the Reds and the Braves. Reds have had a 12-game win streak.
That's right. I'm glad I didn't take the options. I may have said the Reds then.
Question number 2. Which player leads Major League Baseball in hits so far this season? Cody, you said Luis Arraez. Anthony, you said Luis Arraez. Answer is?
Well, it's Anthony's favorite beat the streak.
Nice.
Player, Luis Arraez.
Neither of you needed the option.
Way to go, Cody.
Question number 3. Which university recently won the 2023 College World Series? Cody, you said LSU. Anthony, you also said LSU. Answer is?
It's LSU.
But Cody didn't need the options, Anthony. 6-5. Going into question number 4, you both had different answers. Question number 4. Who has the best slugging percentage in Cardinals history, sitting at .683 in his Cardinals career? Cody, you took the options. You said Mark McGwire. Anthony, without the options, you said Albert Pujols. If Anthony's right, he's got to win here today. If Cody's right, he's got to win today.
The suspense is killing me.
The answer is
First baseman, Mark McGuire.
Cody.
Chosen wisely.
Nice job, Cody. You destroyed that one.
He crushed it, man. Good job.
Way to
I got
go.
nervous there at the end. I heard first baseman.
Marsh did it right.
Yeah, you sure
He
did.
built up that suspense.
Built it up.
Yeah. Hey, Cody, you earned that one, man. Congratulations. You said that you were going to pummel me, and that's exactly what you did. Nice job.
Hey, it was a good fight, though.
It certainly was.
Final was 7-5, Cody.
Wow, that's as good as it's going to get there. Cody, congrats, man. You'll be back with us tomorrow. You'll take on either Marsh or Jamie.
All right, sounds good. Thanks,
All
guys.
right, thank you. Nice job. Wow, Cody was rolling.
He was,
Good
too.
for him.
He was.
Was Albert an option or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Albert,
All right.
Stan Musial, or Mark McGuire.
Unfortunately, I don't. Well, I would have lost anyways, even if I could remember LSU. But I thought it was either Miami or Florida that won it. So I would have needed the options on the LSU one. I'm just glad it was them.
Cody had some pretty sound reasoning on the final question. He said since Mark McGuire wasn't with the team as long as the other two, he thought his higher. Yeah, he had a higher slugging percentage.
Good call. Well, like I said, you earned it, man. That was a great. That was a great battle.
Way through it. Did a good
Nice job. All right, it's a fast line on 101 ESPN. Like I said, we will talk about the Cardinals' victory today. Yet another one. They sweep the Marlins, and as Jamie said, how do you like Skip Schumacher now, Lisa?
Yeah, Lisa.
Yeah, they're still better overall, but
Lisa.
We still love you, Lisa. Jeremy Rutherford. We'll talk a little Blues with him next on 101 ESPN.
It's time for the Rutherford Report on 101 ESPN.
Anything you folks want to know about the fascinating world of pro hockey, here we go.
Jeremy Rutherford is our Blues insider with The Athletic, but he just let Marsh know that he went to the Cardinals game last night. So, JR, break down the Cardinals right now. What do you think? They get back into this thing in the second half?
You know what? This is I feel sorry for the Cardinals reporters because we had to ask these questions so many times. Should they be sellers? What should they do? Should they? And it just feels like Groundhog Day here. But no, I did go last night. And, hey, look, I love me some Skip Schumacher. But last night I was with my son and a friend in the right field bleachers, and they walked Goldschmidt, right? And then when Arenado came up, I said, they got to walk him. And then as the pitch is going into Arenado at the plate, I said, Skip must have some numbers, Arenado and Puck here, that why he's not walking them. And as I'm saying that, the ball is sailing into the seats. So pretty wild. But a big win yesterday, big win today. And, get Katie Wu on here. Get the Cardinals reporter. Should they be sellers or what?
JR, we like the voice of the people. But honestly, the experts, they're okay. They're fine.
Yeah, they do.
We want the real people.
They work hard.
I want people like you, JR, out in the bleachers, not the green seats. You're in the bleachers. Yeah. You're living the life, JR.
You know what? It's so different. It's so different. Like, you're not used to having a cold one during the game, for one. And two, I was driving home last night after the Cardinal game, and it's 10 o'clock, and I'm like, this is amazing going home at 10 o'clock. I told my friend this is usually when the work just gets started after a Blues game.
So speaking of the Blues, JR, the Blues did make a move. I don't think anybody can pronounce this young man's name except for Jamie. So what do we need to know about Yakapatuka?
Yeah, well, first of all, he spells Jeremy wrong. He spells it I-E at the end instead of a Y, so he's wrong there.
Blasphemy.
So blasphemy. And Bianca Batuka, the only reason I can pronounce that Bianca Batuka, isn't that a football player from years ago? Was it
Michigan, Tim Bianca Batuka.
I actually think they're related. Yeah. They are. They're related.
Okay.
I think it's his nephew or something like that.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to look into it. Sounds like you know more about the guy than I do, Rev.
Yeah, I know things, JR.
Yeah. No, he stuck out a little bit in camp. I mean, I got to be honest, in camp I was looking at some of the other guys, Snuggerud and Dean and those guys, so not paying too much attention to an undrafted guy. But obviously, as you know, Riv, when you're an undrafted hockey player and a team catches your eye and signs you to a 3-year entry-level deal like they did with Jeremy spelled wrong, Bianca Batuka, I think it says a lot. And, they're adding some defensemen into the mix. I'm working on a story today that should be up tomorrow at The Athletic, just with the depth chart and kind of where all these guys fall in. So I've got a new name to add to the list today.
Speaking of the depth chart, JR, the Blues lock up Toropchenko. They avoid arbitration, get him a 2-year deal, and they literally fill out their roster. 23 of 23 players under contract. Now, you don't have Perunovic on that cap-friendly roster, but looking at this lineup right now as it is, and you can kind of construct whatever lines you'd like to make out of it. What do you think of the job that Doug Armstrong has done?
Well, I think a good job with this context, that it's an admitted retool. I don't think anybody thought that they were going to go into free agency and, make a splash, anything like that. I think it is what it is. And I think that I like the shrewd moves he did with bringing guys in, going back to the trade deadline, on lesser deals with Brana at 50%, then bringing Kevin Hayes in at 50%. And so now you've got the makings of a pretty good top 9. And now with the addition of Sundqvist and you get Toropchenko under the fold, he was a restricted free agent. You bring in McEachran. Now you've got some competition on the fourth line. When I say that the fourth line was kind of the only hole, I don't mean that there's not holes in the rest of the lineup. People driving down the road can say, oh, what about the defense? What about the scoring? Okay, I get that, but this roster is what it is right now, and that's not changing. In terms of true look at the roster, where could the Blues fill in? I think it was on that fourth line, Riv. And now you got the makings of something. It could be a Toropchenko, a Sundqvist, a McEachran. If Blade drops down, you got Nathan Walker there. So there's some competition on that fourth line. I think Doug did a good job with everything that to be considered.
Jeremy Rutherford is our Blues insider with The Athletic. He joins us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So, JR, we got this question, I believe, in the Sports Six-Pack yesterday. It was a difficult one to answer given the roster construction right now and based on what JR Well, yeah, you're JR too.
Yeah, good work, Anthony.
Jamie, what Jamie just asked you about the roster being kind of finalized here. Is there any young player that could make his way into the lineup as of, at some point this season? And if so, who is it?
Yeah, so if you look at opening night, let's focus on that first, and then I'll get to your question. I think that you're looking at 14 forwards right now. You're looking at 8 or 9 defensemen if you include Kylie Rosen, which I think you should. So I think it's going to be tough for a young guy to make the roster opening night. Now, of course, they can come into camp and impress, and Zachary Bolduc and a guy like that, and make the roster, and we just didn't see it. But a month into the season, 2 months into the season, you're talking about injuries, you're talking about poor performance. I think a guy like a Nikita Alexandrov is a guy that we saw last year. He can come up and get some time. I think Zachary Dean, who they got from Vegas in the Ivan Barbashev trade, he's a guy. I think at some point you'll see Zach Bolduc just to get a cup of coffee and see what he can do at the NHL level. But I think, that's likely it among the forwards. I mean, I think it's going to be a couple years before we see like a Snuggerud, or maybe next year you'll see Dvorsky. We're not going to see those top prospects this upcoming season, but some of the names I just mentioned. And then on defense, maybe, but if you're already sitting 8 or 9 deep, and that's before you talk about Scotty Perunovich getting on the ice. So I think what we see and what we hear and the names that we've been talking about, Anthony, are the names that you could likely see at some point in the season.
JR, if we stick right there with the defensive core for the Blues, what direction ultimately do you think Army goes in? Because you have 8 one-way contracts, you have 9 guys, because Rosen's making $450,000 on a 2-way, and I think he's proven that he can be a quality NHL defenseman. Ultimately, what direction do the Blues go in? Because there's not enough ice time for 9 guys.
There's not, and I don't know that you can keep 8 for the bulk of the season. So I think that when Army says they could start the season with 8, they've done that before, and then 3 or 4 weeks into the season, you'll cut down to 7. I think it's going to be coming down to who performs. That's cliche, but here's the tricky part. With it being a retool, they're going to want some of these young guys to play. So every time I go to list the Blues top 6 or top 7, I'm including a guy like Tyler Tucker. I really like him, and I think they're going to play him. I think that if Scotty Perunovich checks out, they've got to get him some ice time too. And obviously with his injuries, it's been a long time coming in terms of him getting some regular action. So I think he's going to play. But look, the penalty kill was porous last year. You're bringing in a new PK coach in Mike Weber. You're going to want to get that off on the right foot, right? And guys like Scandella, Bortuzzo, those guys are PK guys. So there's just so many different ways to look at it. And with 8 or 9 guys, there's going to be plenty of people trying to get in there. So that's going to be really interesting to me. But, Riv, I'll throw one more thing in there. How are those top 4 guys going to perform? Because I know Doug Armstrong is not going to have a lot of patience for those guys if they play anywhere near to the low level they did last year. So we'll see what happens with that. Perhaps you see some of those younger guys or some of the lesser names climb up and grab that ice time.
Maybe. You never know. I mean, those no-trade clauses kind of hamper some things for Army, even with playing time when it comes to that, because if you're looking to trade them, you're not really building up their value by sitting them. But sticking with the decor, again, there are a lot of people out there, nationally, locally, anywhere you turn, that believe that having a Torrey Krug and a Scott Perunovich in the same lineup, can't necessarily happen. How do you feel about that?
Well, I can see that, especially when you're talking about the job that Perunovich did on the power play, running that a couple years ago in the playoffs. I think it was against Colorado, looked terrific. So, if he can play at that level, do you have a Krug on power play 1 and a Perunovich on power play 2? I suppose that works, but you're already kind of an undersized defense. Can you have a Torrey Krug second pair, Perunovich third pair, undersized guys? And, let's not kid ourselves. There's some other undersized guys in that bunch, too. It's not the 2019 Stanley Cup Blues defense. So I think in an ideal world, you don't want it. I'm not saying it can't work, but I'm saying ideal world, you don't want it. But here's the catch. The catch is, how do you move one of those guys? Krug has the no-trade clause. We've already, heard from him on that front when they tried to make one deal with Philadelphia. And then Perunovich, he just hasn't played enough to have a ton of value. I think there'd be teams probably interested in him, but he's got to get on the ice and show it. So here's the thing: do you play both of them? Do you sit Kruninovich, or do you try to move one of them? And if so, how can you do that? I think that's the dilemma.
JR, great stuff. We appreciate not only your Blues coverage, but your Cardinals coverage as well here on 101 ESPN.
Yep, perfect. Anytime, just give me a buzz. I think they're going to rattle off 17 in a row here and get back into this playoff picture.
Hey, it has happened before.
Thanks, guys.
Yes.
See you, buddy.
See you, bud.
See you.
All right, that's our guy, Jeremy Rutherford here in the Fast Line on 101 ESPN.
What?
Bianca Matuka, are they related at all?
I honestly think they are.
They might be.
I think they are.
Do you remember Tim Bianca Batuka?
Yeah, he played running back for Michigan.
Yeah.
Wolverines, Anthony. The yellow thing on their helmet.
They do. Yeah. You're right.
I know.
All right. Let's dive into the Cardinals' victory and whether or not we should start buying our playoff tickets next on 101 ESPN.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cards sweep the Marlins, a 6-4 victory over Miami. Nolan Gorman with a 3-run home run earlier today as he is starting to get hot at the dish. The Cards will take on the Chicago Cubs this upcoming weekend. We'll talk more about the upcoming series, but we're going to dive into today's game, an early game, and the Cardinals are streaking right now. Of course, Anthony Stalter said to buy your postseason tickets already. He's going to tell you why coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Plus, he's stubborn as all you know what, so he wants to play better.
Now backhand play. Look at that throw off stride. Unbelievable.
He's putting on a clinic today, everybody.
Your Cardinals are putting on a clinic right now. They've won 5 straight games, 8 of their last 10. They've swept the Skip Schumacher-led Marlins. Get out of here, Skippy. With your team that's lost 6 in a row.
Skip Schumacher. He's in great shape, chiseled jawline, super
Incredible
nice
guy,
really
yeah.
intelligent, well-spoken, one heck of a guy. Screw you.
Go back to Miami, Skip.
We love you, Skip.
I do like Skip. He's a
Skip, by the way,
super good dude.
He was awesome on BK and Ferrari the other day.
Yeah.
Those guys are having some fun with him. He's just such an awesome dude.
He is, absolutely. For a manager that a team's lost 8 of their last 10, huh?
Yeah, losing manager.
Yeah, Marlins crashing back down to earth. So are the Reds, so are the Cubs, so are the Pirates. They've been crashing for a while now. But nonetheless, guys, the Cardinals, your Cardinals are starting to rally. I think you get the playoff tickets right now, Jamie. Good seats still available. You know they're only 9.5 games out? That's it. 9.5. You know who else is 9.5 games out? The Phillies, and they're in second place. Now, granted, if you were in the NL East, you'd probably be 17.5 games out, if not 24 games out. But still, Jamie, do you buy now at the deadline based on this 5-game winning streak?
No.
Completely agree.
No, actually, that's not true. Let me take it back. Anthony, ask me again.
Jamie, now that your team have won 5 straight games, do you look to buy at the deadline now?
You do. As well as sell.
Yeah.
And I think both things can be true. I really do. I've been saying it now for, probably about a week, where you can sell and buy at the same time. You just have to buy the right things. You're not going to sell off Monty, Flaherty. Who else do we talk about?
O'Neill,
DeYoung. You're not going to sell off all of that to pick up Lance Lynn and Rich Hill.
Right.
Like, that's not the kind of buying I'm talking about. The kind of buying I'm talking about is an actual return on your trade. The return that can help your club maybe a little bit this year, but certainly a lot next year. Mm-hmm. So both things can be true. Like Army this year. Like, was he a buyer? Well, not really, but he did buy.
He bought on he sold off the expiring contracts for guys that are under contract.
But he did both.
Yeah.
So my vision for the Cardinals, and it might not be their vision, my vision for the Cardinals is a similar type of trade deadline where the expiring contracts are gone. And, there's not the first-round pick and second-round pick, but you get tiered prospects in return for some of these guys. And then you look to add major league roster guys that maybe have some team control or that maybe are already under a contract that you think is manageable for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, Jamie, I wonder if some people hear sell or hear us talk sell and they think from the traditional standpoint of sell and just get prospects, like low-end prospects or any sort of prospect.
That's not where my head's at.
No, that's not where my head is either. We're talking about a retool, not a rebuild. And the difference for me is that when you're rebuilding, you're eyeing the window of like 3 to 5 years. When you're retooling, you're looking to turn this around quickly. Mm-hmm. You're talking about a year, really a trade deadline and an offseason, because you already have guys like Nolan Arenado, who's red hot, by the way. You have Nolan Gorman. You have Paul Goldschmidt. You have Wilson Contreras. You have an offense that is ready to go. I don't think and if I haven't been clear with this, I should have been. I don't think under any circumstance should the Cardinals do a flat sell-off, see whatever you can get. I think the Cardinals, because they do have the offense, they're in a spot where they can target a very specific need and leverage what they have in those expiring contracts to get that very specific need. Multiple teams will be in on Jordan Montgomery. Multiple teams, in my opinion, will be in on Jack Flaherty, especially when Eduardo Rodriguez of Detroit is off the market and Shohei Ohtani, certainly, Lucas Giolito, maybe a Mike Clevenger. When these names start to fly off the market and you've got a contending team that has missed out on those guys, all of a sudden Jack Flaherty looks like you start to talk yourself into Jack Flaherty of, well, in 2019. Blah, 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 blah.
Or you just look at the month of July.
Certainly.
He's been throwing grease BBs.
He's going to fetch you something. You can do both. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be an either-or situation where it's like, sell, get all these prospects, rebuild. No, that's not what we're talking about.
No, but that's what people are drawn to thinking, is that if you're in sell mode, it's everything, and you're almost in tank mode. The Cardinals aren't in tank mode. Yeah. That offense is as bold statement. I wouldn't say it's as good as any team in the National League, but that offense can compete with almost any other team in the National League.
Agree.
So you've got that going for you. You have one friggin' element that you need to right.
And it's a big element.
It is a massive element. It's your pitching staff.
Basically your periodic table of elements.
Mm-hmm.
You like that one?
No, I actually didn't.
Okay. Here is the cat, Jimmy the Cat Hayes, with Nolan Gorman postgame.
That was a bullpen game. How impressive was it, especially a guy like Zach Thompson who hadn't pitched in forever?
Yeah, first time out. I mean, for a while up here, and did a good job getting the double play that he needed and then getting his next guy. So good job by him, good job by Dakota, good job by everyone.
With Gorman saying that and Jimmy the Cat Hayes asking about the bullpen, there is another avenue to still kind of stay in like the fringe and do both.
I know what you're about to say.
You already have to revamp the bullpen.
I know what
you have to. You have to revamp the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
So if you target the pitching that you need, certainly from a starting standpoint, but you also do so, and get some relievers in, you can start booking your World Series tickets at some point.
Why do you go so extreme?
I don't know.
I don't understand why you do that. Because what happens, Anthony, honestly,
it's fun for me.
Let's just talk. Let's real talk here, okay?
All right.
What happens is, and Marcia, you know this, you've talked to me about this personally. You pulled me aside and asked me about Anthony doing this very thing. But what happens, Anthony, is you gain the confidence of the listeners. They think, oh, listen, Anthony's starting to sound like he's not concussed for a change. And then you totally ruin it. I don't know why you do that to yourself. Are you a self-sabotager, Anthony?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the
you
listener,
were right, Andrew.
Yeah, the listener yesterday said Anthony was delusional.
About what?
Well, I don't know.
Life.
Hey, if you're going to call me delusional, at least tell me what I'm delusional about.
Do you have to have a specific thing?
In this case, yeah.
What if you're just delusional, like mostly across the board? Like just...
Still, tell me. Tell me what I'm delusional about. You're delusional. About what? I'm not going to say. Okay, well, that says everything about you, not about me.
Anthony, I have a really important question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What number do you call to buy these tickets?
Oh, yeah. Come on, boy. Coming from Marshy, the guy who lied and said he didn't answer the text message.
Marsh, hey.
Hey, 2 hours have gone by. They just won this game.
That's
Marsh,
5 in a row.
Let me tell you something. Your delivery on that was absolutely perfect. That was a 10 out of 10 when it comes to the delivery. I had no idea what he was talking about with the number. He could have taken that in any direction he wanted to. And he stuck the landing on that, Jamie.
He did.
Why are you all grumpy pants all of a sudden?
I'm not at all. We got our weekly, what's Trevor Bauer doing right now?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I saw a video of him just giving up a huge home run. It was about a week ago.
He's not good.
I've actually watched some of his YouTube videos. He does like a blog.
Yeah, like in the game too. I don't know. They're like letting him do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, because he's Trevor Bauer, and that's all he wants to do whatever he wants.
He's kind of a dork when it comes to pitching.
He's awful. He's a weird dude.
Like he's very into
Well,
like
Lab
the
Martian, we can't get into that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hearsay.
The biomechanics of pitching, I believe.
Oh, he's talking about pitching.
Yeah, he's talking about pitching.
I
Right.
thought it was the other things he's into.
I've got a petition.
You don't want to talk about that here, Andy.
I've got a petition started.
Another
and it's
one?
And it's a just say no to Trevor Bauer with the birds on the bat.
Who do you hand that one to?
Everybody.
No, but like when you're done with it. Or do you just keep it? Like, I don't understand the end goal.
I'll send it to Mo. I'll give it to Brad. I'll give it to BT to hand to Mo.
Hey, that's never touching Mo's fingers.
No, probably not.
No chance.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Would moving on from Carlson be a big mistake? It depends. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Jamie Rivers here. Let's talk real estate for a minute. If you need a reliable, experienced, and trusted agent, take it from me and get to know Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. Here is why you should call. Gloria has several different ways that she can sell your home, but one that I like to see is the guaranteed sale. What she means by that is she'll sit down with you and figure out the sales price of your home and sell your home for the agreed upon price, or she buys it herself, and she guarantees that in handwriting. Gloria also has the buyers. Gloria is able to guarantee the sale of your home in writing because she already has the buyers. That's right. Thousands of ready buyers that Gloria has accrued over 20 years of being a buyer's agent in her exclusive database, looking to buy in your neighborhood. No matter where it is, she's got you covered. She's going to take great care of you. So if you're looking to sell your home and you want to sell it fast and for the most money, call Gloria Liu. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. That number is 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions to apply. Gloria and the seller must agree on the sales price and possession date.
the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So would it be a mistake for the Cardinals to move on from Dylan Carlson? Jamie, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it would be. Depending on what the return is.
What if it's a starting pitcher that winds up being a guy that can be in your rotation for the second half of this year and next year, but is not necessarily a big-time name?
I'd make that move.
Samesies.
I would. But, as far as just moving Dylan Carlson because you're like, you're tired of the project.
Mm-hmm.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
No, yeah.
He's a 24-year-old switch-hitting center fielder / outfielder.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is he a great switch hitter? No, he's struggled. He certainly has struggled at times. But he's still, the talent is there.
Right.
I'm not just cutting bait with Dylan Carlson just because I feel like, he hasn't fulfilled his expectations of being this megastar. He's 24 years old.
Yeah.
He came into the league during a pandemic, which was weird to begin with. He made your roster, and he's been injured a couple times. I'm not ready to just give up on him. Now, will I move him to improve my rotation? If I can get a 3 pitcher? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
Katie Wu is a regular on BK and Ferrario, and they asked her about Dylan Carlson and the prospects of the Cardinals moving him. And here's what Katie Wu of The Athletic said.
I'll be honest. I'm a Dylan Carlson enthusiast, and how he's been used this year has been perplexing to me. I think he's more or less a product of just position log jams. I mean, the Cardinals have so many outfielders, it's hard to play them each one every single day, and that's even with Tyler O'Neill on the injured list. But Dylan Carlson, I think, over the last year has really gotten the short end of the stick. He was playing through an injury in the second half of 2022, already facing immense pressure because the front office more or less said they believed in him and he wasn't going anywhere. And now he's trying to play through an injury the whole second half, and it really impacted his performance. 2023, they started the season with their projected outfielder with Newbar, O'Neill, and Carlson. Of course, Jordan Walker comes up, and he's going to play, right? That was always going to be a consequence to one of the other outfielders if Jordan Walker came up. But throughout the 2023 season, I don't think Dylan Carlson has been given a fair shot to go out there and get the playing time that I think he would have on nearly any other team, including contending teams. He's athletic. He can play all 3 spots. I know the metrics say otherwise, but my eye test, because that matters, I think that he's their best defensive center fielder, not named Tommy Edman.
All right, so Katie admits that she's a Dylan Carlson enthusiast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be, Jamie, I think you said it, I wouldn't be so just geared up to trade Dylan Carlson. I know that this has been a topic of conversation, but I think that we need to take a step back and say, moving Dylan Carlson in and of itself, sure, it makes sense. If you are getting major league ready starting pitching, that doesn't mean if you're getting Justin Verlander. It means getting somebody back that is cost controlled. You are swapping Dylan Carlson at 24 years old, a young cost controlled outfielder. You don't know what he's going to be. You don't know if he's going to be a bust, merely a 4th outfielder, or a stud someday. But you're trading that prospect of him to another team for a pitcher that's going to plug into your starting rotation again for the second half. That makes sense. To just trade him in a deal that, I don't know, gets you another outfielder, a mid-level prospect, that doesn't make any damn sense.
No.
However, you do got to play him at some point, though.
He is playing.
Playing what?
Center field. Played today.
Like every 3 games? You got to play him.
Listen, Anthony.
Jamie, you got to play him.
What you're saying is crap, okay? So,
Damn.
Dylan Carlson.
Usually not that forward.
Dylan Carlson has had opportunity to play. Has he battled through injury? Yeah, he has. Is he the only guy in a baseball lineup that battles through injuries? No.
Yes. No,
he's not. Arenado's had this stiff back almost all year, whatever the heck it's attributed to, and he's raking. Has it affected him on the defensive side? Maybe.
Did you just compare Carlson to Nolan Arenado?
I'm comparing him to another player. Pick your player.
What you're saying is crap.
Paul Goldschmidt has battled through some injuries. Brendan Donovan currently battling through an injury. So it happens. You can't give me the The spoon-fed. Well, he was hurt.
Brendan Donovan played every day last year.
Poor guy was hurt. He didn't get his opportunity. No, he did. He got plenty of opportunity.
Donovan played every day last year.
Now, the important part of this is that he seizes the moment.
Mm-hmm.
He knows where he's at right now. The Cardinals have told him that you're on the outside looking in. But we have everybody healthy. In our outfield, you're the fourth guy. How can you change that, Dylan Carlson? By outplaying one of or several of the other outfielders. And
In
I
your
like
2
his
games
response.
a week.
Anthony, stop it.
Seriously.
Who the hell's taking him out of the lineup now?
Well, when Tyler O'Neill comes back, he's going to play, and Jordan Walker's going to play.
But this is why
and
it's
Donovan's
essential
gonna
that
play,
Dylan Carlson...
And Edman, when he comes back, he's going to play.
This is why it's essential for him to play well right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that when those guys do come off the IL, that maybe Carlson's not the guy out of the mix. And if he is, so be it. When you get in the game, earn your next game. That's just what it is. He's 24 years old. You can't just spoon feed the guy. Like, he can battle. He's allowed to fight for a spot here.
But he's 24 years old, and he's at the big league level already.
Yeah.
And he has been at the big league level. The big league level is not a developmental league.
Yeah, it is, actually, Anthony.
No, it's not.
For young players, it is.
If you're the Rockies,
you
it is.
continue to develop.
It's a pay league.
That's a lie.
It's not a league.
Well, okay, not a lie. You're incorrect.
For a 24-year-old kid who had next to no minor league experience, you have him up for a reason. Play
but
him.
you're saying it's not development. You're developing all the time. That's why your young guys play and they develop.
What did they do with Jordan Walker when he wasn't doing what they were hoping to? They sent him down. Why?
That's because the team was
because they wanted him to work. You're losing now.
Nothing really changed for Jordan Walker, and he's back here developing at the major league level.
He's back up because they need him in their lineup so they can try to fix this thing on the fly. This is the pay league, man. You have to play. You have to perform. And if you're, let me take another approach here.
All right.
When he's not playing, there's not a lot of instructional time to go over things with Dylan Carlson.
How do you know that?
Because you're trying to win games. You're talking about scouting reports.
You have a whole coaching staff that's there working.
Sure.
Like Willie McGee working with Alec Burleson every single day. You don't think Dylan Carlson gets the same attention as Alec Burleson?
I'm sure he does, but Alec Burleson is a part-time player, and we're not talking about Dylan Carlson prime out of his cold, dead hands.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, those two guys aren't the same.
But maybe Dylan Carlson was kind of fast-tracked a little bit because the Cardinals at the time had a need for a guy. At the time, they were trying to figure out who the hell their outfielders were.
Right.
And so maybe they fast-tracked him and now realize that they're going to have to continue to develop him at the major league level and that they need to pump the brakes a little bit, and maybe he's not a starting 3 yet.
This is what I'm saying.
24 years old.
This is what I'm saying here. At 24 years old, some of these guys are still in the minors and had been in the minors and working their way through it. He was not.
No.
He's been up since, 2020 in a pandemic year. They sent him down once, and he's come back, and since he come back up, he's been that guy. He's battled through injuries. I'm with you. I don't want to spoon feed him anything, but he has not been developed. And it's how about this? It's not a developmental league. How about this? It's not a developmental league as much as we think it might be.
What, the majors?
Yes.
I would agree with that. But
how are you going to get
pushback is that these young guys are still developing. I mean, that's why. Why do you think they would say, well, Jordan Walker's young. We need him to be in the lineup every day. Why? So he can develop.
Right.
At the major league level.
So what's the difference there? Walker is playing every day.
He's also 21.
But so if he wasn't playing every day, he'd be where?
At 21, he'd be down in Memphis.
Sure.
Correct.
Dylan Carlson at 22 was not at Memphis. At 23, he was in Memphis.
That was the mismanagement of the Cardinals at the time, and the fact that they needed full-time outfielders. They were going to force feed the square peg into the round hole.
Right. So now we're saying, hey, develop on the fly at the big league level with 2 starts a week.
I don't care, Anthony. I don't care. It's the majors. Deal with it. You're not getting the attention that you think you should get or the coaching. Demand it. You're being paid. I know I went through this crap. Go ask for help. Find out what you can do. And in practice and do all that stuff, you go out there and earn it. So BP, fielding, shagging, BP, whatever it is. I know it's not real game time, but at 24 years old, he can still develop every single day, whether he's in the lineup or not.
I agree from an individual standpoint.
But he's got to take control of his own career. He can't just be given crap.
I understand.
He can't just be like,
but the Cardinals,
poor me.
No, I'm with you on that. But the Cardinals also have a responsibility to make sure that they put this kid in the best spot, right? And if you're only given him X amount of starts, you're in the lineup one time, you're in the lineup. I'm with you from an individual standpoint. Don't poop in your pants. Don't cry about it. Get out there and work hard, just like you did throughout your career. What I'm saying is, he didn't have much of a minor league career compared to other top prospects, and now it's like, perform, mother blanker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
but
it's hard to get in a rhythm.
But we don't know what goes on behind closed doors either. Dylan Carlson could be demanding playing time. Mm-hmm. And the performance isn't matching the demand. And if that's the case, like Dylan Carlson might be in Ollie's office every other day going, hey, listen, man, like I need my opportunity. Okay, great. But every time we give you a string of 3 to 5, 6, 7 games, like the numbers aren't there. You're not an everyday outfielder right now.
He's 0 for 4 today, facing Alcantara. Mm-hmm. We know he does not hit well. Batting from the left side. He's nearly a 300 hitter, almost a 300 hitter this year, batting from the right side.
Yeah.
Maybe someone needs to tell him to be a right-handed hitter.
Well, that's part
part of the development.
I asked BT that a while ago. I was like, at what point do you tell him to just give up on the switch hitting?
Yeah.
And he said, not yet.
Yeah. It's a fascinating conversation with him specifically.
Tommy Edman switch over at various points in the year, and it helped him a little bit.
That's true. All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We have What's Trending coming up next.
What's trending in the world of sports? The Fast Lane has you covered. What's trending now?
Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate to Goodwill and get a half-price Cardinals ticket voucher.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, I'm Andrew Marsh, and it is time for What's Trending. Guys, we had a text message from the 636 to kind of go back to our previous conversation about Dylan Carlson. The 636 says the difference between the Cardinals and organizations like the Braves is that they have enough elite players in the lineup that their young players can develop at the big league level, and the team still wins. We aren't that type of team.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. Well said. Yeah.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
So developing players.
For example, Harris can bat 9. Michael Harris can bat 9 in a rookie year and not have to worry about hitting cleanup, which is exactly where Dylan Carlson was in the 2020 playoff game against the Dodgers. He's right. Whoever texted that in, that was spot on.
Anyways, today the Cardinals, they did not avoid the sweep. They swept the Marlins.
Nice.
6-4 final. So we have a great game last night with Nolan Arenado hitting the game-winning home run in the 10th inning. And then today, Nolan Gorman hits a home run. What are you seeing out of Nolan Gorman lately that gives you a little bit more confidence in this offense?
I think Nolan Gorman is your stereotypical left-handed bat with pop. Mm-hmm. He's going to have some dry spells. I mean, it is what look at coming into this season. His strikeout rate was way up there. His performances were patchy.
Yep.
Yet he still, I think, altogether last year had like 30 home runs with minor leagues and major leagues. Mm-hmm. And this year he's probably going to get to 30 again, maybe 35. He was tearing the league apart to start. Then he kind of cooled down, and now he's heating up again. This is what you get, I think, when you have a guy like that.
Yeah, he's a young guy. You know, second full big league season. This is the first full-time opportunity for Nolan Gorman. Last year he struggled. This year he's put it all together. This goes back to the work that he did in the offseason. Revamped the swing a little bit, understood how pitchers were going to attack him, and now it's paying off. But in terms of him slumping, every player is going to go through a slump. Hell, Paul Goldschmidt won an MVP last year, did not hit well in April or August. Or September. April and September he didn't hit well.
October.
Jamie.
Yeah. But
it's a 2-game sample size.
Yeah, it's a big game.
Yeah, it stinks.
Stop calling him the Kirk Cousins of baseball.
Okay, now.
We got a situation on Olive here right now. There is about 25 or 30 Canadian geese that have just taken over Olive Boulevard.
They are slow playing this here.
Yes.
Both sides of the street stopped. If you're on Olive right now listening, thank you. And if you're wondering why it's backed up,
look at the slow one
it's
behind.
because of the geese.
Straggling back.
Yeah, look at this. Oh, he's got a limp.
He's got a limp. Somebody already clipped him.
Yep. Oh no, he's got a. Can we?
You know what the good thing is, Anthony? He can still fly.
I don't know if you can see this outside or not.
No, you're not even close.
I'm not?
No. And now the engineering is going to get so pissed off.
Oh, they are. I'm not supposed to touch these cameras, am I?
Yeah. Good thing Ryder's got. No, just leave it like that. It's fine. They'll love that, Anthony.
Sorry.
Anyways, thank you for your patience on Olive. All of them have crossed the road safely. That's
nice
your
job.
Update.
Wow.
Brought to you by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
Oh, Limpy is looks like he's going to be okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
Is that a thing with...
He's going to gut it out. He's no Tyler.
With the geese? Where they, like, one is just... broken leg, whatever. Like,
they leave them right behind.
Just leave them.
Yeah,
They're not wolves.
baby them. They don't baby them.
A bunch of D-bags.
No, we build them tough in Canada. Tape that thing up. Let's go. We got a third period to play.
It's my camera right here after I touched it.
Let's look.
That's quite the look, by the way, when you're looking at the YouTube channel. Oh.
Hey, how you doing there?
There it is. All right. Marshy, what else we got? What's trending apart from Canadian geese?
Yeah. Saquon Barkley. He's been in the news lately. He says he has considered not playing for the Giants this season, admitting during a recent interview that he might have to take it to this level. I saw a tweet last night, or maybe it was this morning, one of the two, that Le'Veon Bell changed the game for running backs in terms of how much money they could make in the future and the value of running backs in general. Do you believe that to be true? And if so, can you think of another athlete that has somewhat changed how we view a certain position in a sport and how much money they should make?
Le'Veon Bell left $10-something million on the table, guaranteed. That's what he did, and that's what he's admitted. Mm-hmm. So Saquon Barkley can go that same route. He can hope that the Giants release him at the end of the year, but if they don't, like the Steelers did, then what?
Yeah.
You're going to be in the same situation again a year later, and you didn't collect the $10.5 million in guaranteed money. What if James Conner didn't have the season that he did for the Steelers? All Le'Veon Bell did was further illustrate that a guy in the fourth round, third round can step in and do the job, and the team can win, and they could just move on from you at the end of the year. That's all Le'Veon Bell did. And where did he get his money? Bad Jets team.
Yeah.
And they cut him like a year and a half later. And yeah, he wound up with the Chiefs at the end of his career and stuff.
But he played.
There you go.
Maybe he did, like a play.
So if you're Saquon, do what you got to do. But Le'Veon Bell is one example of a guy that did not take the money, and he has admitted that he made the mistake. My thought on it. But Saquon Barkley's got to do what's best for him. I
know it's what's best for him, but if leaving $10 million on the table is best for him and his family,
I'll take it. You know?
I mean, no, but it's just like, I don't know. With the running back position and with how it is, I think I'd take the $10 million and go out there and try to have another great year. But I think I'd take the $10 million under the premise that, we're going to be talking business next offseason.
Right.
Like, I'm going to do this because, one, I want to be playing for this team. Two, I don't want this to go on and cause a distraction.
Yeah.
But three, we're going to get back to the dance table here or the dance floor next offseason. I'd like to be compensated.
Sure.
I don't like
that's fair.
the franchise tag. I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it why they do it, but I think they're just screwing players over. And they're screwing them over. He's a great running back.
They are, but you're also...
I get why they're doing it. Financially, I understand why the rules in place, but I do believe that they're just screwing these players over. I mean, for the most part, these running backs, like I said, like Le'Veon Bell, what he did has somewhat changed the way that teams look at running backs now. Because with James Conner filling in for Le'Veon Bell, and he did a great job, and now he kind of parlayed that into going to Arizona and whatnot. But I just, I feel bad for some of these guys. I mean,
10.5.
Yeah, no, I know.
Guarantee.
Yeah, no,
March,
I know.
10.5
Do you understand what I'm saying, though?
I do.
They're playing a position that, or they're playing a game that,
you're talking about 4 years, 5 years, you're out.
Run down the road or run down the sidelines and get a hit, and your career's over.
Yeah, it's a nasty sport, but that's they're well compensated. Most of them,
maybe
not all.
Feel that bad.
A lot of them, not all of them.
Correct.
I feel bad for. Never mind.
It's a
Never
fast
mind.
at 120 ESPN.
Kind of got me when you said it out loud.
10.5. I mean, come on. That's a lot. That's a lot. We do have the biggest question of the day coming up. If you want to participate, you can leave us a mic drop on that via the 101 ESPN mobile app. Let's get back into the Cardinals win over the Marlins. Are we believing now? Jamie got the text message last night. He did respond. He had a thoughtful conversation.
Yeah.
Marsh says he woke up, looked at the text, and put the phone back down. But do we believe him?
I might hit him up tonight.
There we go. That's the truth. We'll talk about it next on 101 ESPN. Cardinals get it done again today, 6-4 over the Marlins. They sweep Miami. A couple of the bigger moments throughout the course of the game. Well, most of them came in the first inning where they jumped all over Sandy Alcantara. Jamie, I thought you said it perfectly in the office, too, about Sandy.
Yeah, I said, I'm glad we don't have this guy. This guy sucks.
Yeah.
We won that trade. We did. We got a Gold Glove, middle of the order bat
Absolutely.
for that crap. 4 runs in the first inning.
I mean, are you kidding me on that? So Arenado singles to
Smoke
right,
and mirrors.
drives home Vanute, and drives home Goldschmidt, and then Gorman hit a towering shot, 419 feet, to make it 4-0. Then the Marlins struck for 2 on a Sanchez single that drove in a pair. And then everything kind of got quiet there for a while. But then in the 7th, and this is key, Jamie, we have seen this before at the Cardinals. They jump out, they get a bit of a lead, then the other team starts to hack away a little bit, and then the bullpen is left exposed. Instead, this offense, which is your strength, in the 7th inning, added 2 more runs to make it 6-2. A little bit of a cushion for the bullpen, which unfortunately to some degree needed it because De La Cruz hit a home run to make it 6-3, and then Luis Ariz doubled the right, scored another run to make it 6-4. But Stratton,
it was a little tense.
It was a little tense, but Stratton did get the job done.
Stratton's been money, man. He's been good.
That's a guy too that we haven't really talked about being dealt. He's going to be dealt.
You'd almost be better off to keep him. Based on what I hear about this guy being a really good clubhouse guy and a leader and a veteran guy.
Yeah.
The price tag can't be that much for him.
You know where I think, you know what deal I think he goes with? You know what players he goes with? It's either going to be Montgomery or Flaherty.
It'll be the same kind of piggyback situation as he came to the Cardinals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They got Quintana and Stratton for Oviedo.
Yeah.
That's going to be a situation. And Oviedo has been starting for the Pirates. I don't know if he's still. They've been making a lot of moves. They've been going with that youth movement. So a lot of these AAA guys for Pittsburgh are coming up. So I don't know if Oviedo's still in the rotation.
Have they gone with the biggest move yet, though?
No.
Have they brought our guy back yet?
Oh,
Kai Tom.
Kai Tom. I don't think he's with them anymore.
What? How can you not have that guy?
Where is Kai Tom?
Oh.
Dude, I'll never forget when you and I are wrapping up the show and the Cardinals are in Pittsburgh and it's an earlier start. So they start to play about 5:30. Marsh, Jamie and I look up. I don't think you were here yet. Maybe you were.
Maybe. I don't know.
But we look up.
You talking about Kai Tom?
Yes.
I was not here yet.
So Jamie and I look up. And both, almost instantly, we go, what's that softball player doing in left field?
I don't think I've ever looked up what this dude looks like.
He had the wristband. He looks nothing like a Major League Baseball player.
The wristband, the eye black,
the
flippers.
Had it all going on. And boy, he booted 2 balls almost instantly.
It was terrible.
Marsh, it was almost like the Pirates, the GM, went down, was driving to the ballpark and said, we need an outfield. Like Jamie, when he was GM for the hockey club there.
Found a guy at the gas station.
He found the guy at the gas station. That's Kai Tom for the Pirates.
I mean, he looked the part.
I mean, hell, he made it to the big leagues.
He did.
Good for him.
But he just wasn't ready for developing at the major league level.
He wasn't ready for the show. Oh, man. All right, so getting back to the Cardinals. One of the themes, Jamie, throughout the course of the day has been, if this hot streak continues, does anything change? Let me throw this out there. While we're talking hypotheticals, I don't know if they've got 10 games before the deadline, but if they do, what if they go on a big run?
They have 10 games before the deadline.
Okay, what if they're 500 at the deadline? They'd win 10 in a row.
You mean they win 10 in a row coming up?
Yeah.
Anthony.
What do you do?
What the hell do you have in your cup over there?
I think it's a new pre-workout that you gave me.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you. 10 in a row. You're fine. So at that point, it'd be, what, 15 in a row? Would anything change?
Nothing
for you?
changes.
I'm with you.
I'm steadfast on the exact same plan.
That was a test, and you passed.
Oh, thank you. I feel important that I passed your test.
What? Marsh, what about you?
If they're 500 at the deadline?
Yeah. They go on this remarkable run. Just this disgusting 15 games in a row run.
Yeah.
Where are you at on this team at the deadline? What do you do, Marsh?
I mean, either way, you're getting pitching. So if you're buying, you need pitching. If you're selling, you're going to get pitching.
But
it just depends on what avenue you want to take. Do you want to go get the veteran guy? Maybe it's not like a Rich Hill, as we'll say, but it is a guy like Lance Lynn or somebody of that caliber. Maybe you go after, if you really think you can do it, maybe you go after like Lucas Giolito.
But are you? So you're in full buy mode then? You're keeping Montgomery.
Why the hell would you trade for Lucas Giolito?
Honestly, though, I think I'm. Ooh.
That does nothing for you for next year. That's the problem.
That's where I'm at on this. No matter what they do, you're still not set up for success for next year.
Your pitching is like,
right.
Yeah, you have nothing.
You'd be in a worse spot because you didn't use the deadline.
You could get Lance Lynn. He still has another year, and you could.
Fine, I would do that.
Yeah,
but that's not like for me. That's not buying. Like,
no, it's not.
It's
but
kind
it's
of like,
but it's doing exactly what you've done the past 2 seasons.
But
going
that can't
to get
be the
a
only
veteran
thing you
pitcher.
do, Marshy.
Well, no, I'm just floating ideas out there of what this team has done in the past.
He said he's buying. He got all hyper there.
I know he's trying.
The Cardinals have just won 15 in a row, and he's buying Lance Lynn.
If you win 15 games in a row, you should probably be doing something at the deadline because that just proves that you are somewhat of a good team.
In Marsh's defense,
don't just win 15 games in a row. Be like, yeah, but remember in May the team was terrible.
In Marsh's,
actually, they're pretty good in May, but in
terrible
April,
next year in April
June,
with that kind of thing.
100%. In Marsh's defense, that's exactly what they would do.
Do you want to know what I would do, or do you want to know what the team would do?
No, I want to know what you would do. At this point,
with you so heated, I want to know exactly what you would do.
Yeah.
500 at the deadline.
Yeah.
I'd keep Jordan Montgomery, and I'd trade Jack Flaherty. I'd trade Jack Flaherty.
Okay.
So you're going to lose Monty in the offseason, trade Jack Flaherty. What have you replaced them with? Because now you got 2 starting pitchers gone, and your rotation next year still only has 2 pitchers.
Jamie, you didn't give me 4 hours to do a trade exchange on the old website.
We've been talking about
For those that don't know, we did an exercise last week where we all decided to make trades, and Marsh and I stumbled upon the same website. We were like plugging in the values and all that. It took Marsh all day.
Oh my God, did it ever? I felt like I'd been robbed of 45 minutes of research.
Jamie, we lost Marsh that entire show.
I know.
Do you remember
I thought something was wrong technically because he was just so quiet.
He would do the update, and he would go right back to the computer making this.
It was an incredible day. That is seriously some of the most epic work I've seen you put in. It was amazing.
Yeah, I have no idea who I would get. Like I said, I need some time to really mull it over.
All
but
right. We'll see you next week.
I don't know. I mean,
that's great.
I mean, they're absolutely going to put this team in that spot. Like, it's going to happen.
Yes,
it's going to happen.
Which is exactly why I think Mo just has to
happen.
Stay the course. Stay the course.
It's so funny. All right, we got the biggest question of the day coming up. If you got a question for us, you can send it in either to the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. The YouTube channel is at 101 ESPN STL, or via our mic drop via the 101 ESPN app. Biggest question of the day next.
The insurance world is a difficult one to understand. And I can tell you that from personal experiences. You don't always know the exact coverage that you should have. You don't always know, what the best rate is. Take the guessing games out of it. Call Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency, provider of Allstate Insurance, and first of all, you're going to get that personal attention that you require from the agent itself. Not the 1-800 number where you call and you don't know who you've got on the line. Maybe you call them back the next day. They don't remember who you are or what your situation is. You have to do it all over again. No, stop that. I used to do that. And then I met Tracy Bibb, and Tracy Bibb took over everything from my insurance portfolio and has done a fantastic job of making sure that I'm covered fully, that my children are covered. They're now young drivers, and she has done the best job possible. And she can do all of that for you as well. Please take the time and get a free non-committal quote from Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency. She's also going to fight for you, get you the best rate possible, and she's going to take care of you and your family. That's really what the most important thing is. So please give her a call today at 314-328-4260. Again, that number is 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
.101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for Sports Center Update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals defeat the Marlins 6-4 and sweep Miami. They'll take on the Cubs starting tomorrow. We've talked Cardinals baseball all day long. If you've missed anything from today's show, including our interview with Jeremy Rutherford, our Cardinals insider, just kidding, our Blues insider with The Athletic. However, he did go to last night's game. Nolan Arenado with a massive walk-off home run in the 10th inning. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or use the 101 mobile app. You can find the full show there. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have our biggest question of the day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center Update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
Time for the biggest question of the day here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Here is Andrew Marsh.
So we got a text from Thanks Dad, and he does a great job at being sarcastic. And I think he's being sarcastic here. He says, smallest question of the day. Why can't you just trade Contreras to fix your staff? He's the reason, duh. And I wanted to bring up
Come on.
Ivan
Thanks, Dad,
Herrera today, who was in the starting lineup. Going back to the conversation that we had Monday, you guys had on Monday. Obviously, I wasn't here, but what are we going to see from Herrera in this second half that could push Contreras out of the catching duties? Like, does Herrera need to hit better than him? Because I don't see that happening. Does he simply just have to play better behind the plate? How does that all work?
Yes is the answer to everything.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just really it's outperform Kisner and prove that he needs to be in a time, just perform. Because then that puts Herrera in a timeshare with Contreras behind the dish. That's how I would do it. And if we were talking to BT yesterday, and BT kind of indicated that once you get beyond this year, they're going to view Contreras almost like a full-time DH as it is, or maybe he goes to one of the corner outfield spots. I doubt that's the case. I don't think you want that, but
Contreras?
Yeah,
no,
he can be a DH.
He's going to play first base when you trade Goldie, Anthony.
There you go. I'm going to get us some pitching. We're going to free up a spot, although Walker's going to play first, so that frees up the spot in the outfield that we need for Carlson. Things are happening, Jamie.
So this is a unique problem that the Cardinals have, because I think Herrera underperformed so much last season that they kind of wrote him off of being the heir apparent, at least for the next handful of years.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. Now, Herrera did not get that memo.
Right.
And he went home and did whatever in the offseason and worked his tail off and had a really good first half in AAA ball. And he's come up and played really well for the Cardinals.
Yep.
So now you have a dilemma to where your current catcher, Contreras, is mid at best behind the plate. He can produce offensively, but you got Herrera now, who is substantially younger, makes a ton of money less. He's cost controlled, and Ollie's kind of picking him right now. He's kind of the guy. And then you got Kisner, who I think, no disrespect to Andrew Kisner, because he's not irrelevant. He's very relevant in a lot of ways. We're finding out now, maybe more so than ever, as far as helping the other two catchers embrace or learn the Cardinal way when it comes to pitching. But he's kind of irrelevant from a roster standpoint, because you're not keeping Kisner over Herrera.
No.
You're not. And you cannot send Herrera down now. He's playing too well. But Donnie is your DH at this point. And so Contreras has to either be behind the dish or not play.
Yeah,
it's really kind of screwed up.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Edman situation, because once Donovan can play the field again and once Edman comes off the IL, he's ready to go, then how much do things change again for you in this roster construction? You almost have to make two trades to alleviate some of the roster issues that you have, congestion.
But pause on that for a second. To go back to Thanks Dad, you're not trading Contreras. Nobody's picking up $87.5 million.
Right.
Nobody's doing that, or they would have done that to start with. So go ahead.
If you could trade O'Neill, that alleviates some congestion. If you trade Paul DeYoung, if you can find a suitor, that allows you to bring up Wynn. Doesn't really relieve you from a congestion standpoint, but you almost have to trade two outfielders. You almost have to trade two of O'Neill, Carlson, Nootbaar.
Yeah, because you're
Edman,
not trading
Donovan.
Walker.
I'm not saying you should trade those guys. I'm just saying, what else are you going to do?
I would trade. I would find out what the best deal I could get from multiple teams or one team or however you want to break it down. But O'Neill, Carlson, and Nootbaar would be my guys.
Yeah.
And in that order, too. O'Neill is a must-go.
Yeah.
And in fact, it might be O'Neill and Carlson, O'Neill and Nootbaar to get what you need from a team.
Right.
Nootbaar and Carlson, I feel like they would get a lot of attention out there. And again, I don't really want to part with them, but it is a crowded outfield, and you need pitching.
Yeah.
You desperately need pitching. And I don't know, like Nootbaar, his value is pretty high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we saw that in the offseason.
Yeah.
You could have got Sean Murphy.
Boy, oh boy. That looked pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, things would have been different. You should have made that deal.
Yeah, you should have. But in fairness to Mo,
it may have cost you Donovan too, though.
I don't know what the full deal was.
Yeah.
In fairness to Mo, we don't know exactly what the deal was. And in fairness to Mo again, at the time he believed Contreras was going to be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think Contreras is fine. He's just not Yachty.
Yeah.
And that was never going to be fair for anybody.
Right. Plus, he also had the mindset, going back to it, he had the mindset of he understood what it was going to take to replace Yachty. He understood, and he had the maturity that he wasn't going to try to be Yachty, but still having that understanding that the magnitude of it. He was kind of a perfect fit. But in hindsight, if you would have made the deal for Murphy, you would have had less congestion. You would have had the better overall player.
And he still had team control.
And he had team control. Although I think he signed the contract extension.
He did, but he was still under team control at the time.
Yeah.
I think this year was the last year of team control.
Yeah. What are you going to do? So the Cardinals now moving forward after sweeping the Marlins. They've got a set coming up against the Chicago Cubs. And as we talked about earlier, they've got a 4-game series against the Cubs. They've moved out of last place, which is great. Congratulations to the Cardinals. The Pirates move back into their rightful spot in the NL Central. Remember they're in first place, guys? Red hot Pittsburgh Pirates.
I do remember that.
Yeah, they're in dead last now. But the Cardinals have 4 games coming up against the Cubs, 3 against a struggling Arizona Diamondbacks team that can't hit. We're starting to see these teams fall back now. The Pirates had their collapse well before the end of the first half. We have seen the Cincinnati Reds come back to earth. They have dropped 7 out of their last 10 games and 6 in a row.
Wow.
We have seen the Diamondbacks come back to earth, although they hung like 16 runs on the board against the Braves last night.
Oof.
But they have lost 7 out of their last 10, despite that offensive output last week. So they're starting to come back to earth. So you're starting to see the teams that everybody was shocked by. The Marlins will include them. They've lost 6 straight now. The teams that should have been, 4th place, 5th place, are starting to become what they were.
Back of the baseball card.
Back of the baseball card. That's right. So the Cardinals got 4 against the Cubs coming up, 3 against the Diamondbacks, and then they got the Cubs again.
So the Cubbies here, just to refresh my mind and everybody's mind, when it comes to the NL Central, the Cubs are 2 games ahead of the Cardinals right now. Not even theoretically, literally, the Cardinals could be 2 games up on the Cubs by the time this is over.
How you feel about that?
I feel great about it.
Good.
Here's my thought for the rest of the season. Would I like to see them somehow win the division? Of course I would. Of course I would. But for me, I just want to be happy about what my baseball team is doing. Like if they finish 2nd or 3rd, from where they were to get up and to get, I will be a satisfied Cardinals fan if and only if Mozeliak and the crew do their job and provide pitching, at least for the foreseeable future, a short-term, long-term plan, all that stuff. I'll be more than happy that the Cardinals don't make the playoffs. They finish 2nd or 3rd. They made one hell of a run for it. That I'm okay with that. I wasn't okay with them being god-awful, where I don't even know what team I'm watching anymore. Watching what I've seen here in the last 5 games or so, yes, they've won, but the effort and the execution, some of the clutch hitting, some of the pitching, I'm like, you know what? I can get behind this team. I'm proud to wear the Cardinals t-shirt again,
I'm assuming the answer is no, but does the opponent factor in at all for you?
No, not at all. I don't care.
No.
I don't care because you were winning and losing against bad teams to begin with.
Sure.
So now I don't care. Just win, damn it.
Just win, baby.
I don't know if I'd like them to be just an average baseball team and not make the playoffs. I'd rather
You'd
them
rather
just
have them be dead last.
Well, yeah, because there's
Why? What's your benefit?
What's the benefit? You get a really good draft pick.
The draft has already happened.
For next season.
Next season.
Yeah, but how good will that draft pick be? Because there's teams in this league that are dog blank too.
I mean, they're pretty good. A top 10 pick? We were talking about the Blues getting a top 10 pick and being, the way the Blues haven't had a top 10 pick. And
whoa, that's not what we sound like, do we?
You have to think about something here. The NL Central is dog crap.
For sure.
Right? So when you look at some of the records around the league, even if you finish second in the Central, your record could be like your overall wins and losses.
I get that, but why, if you're not going to make the playoffs, who cares how bad you are? Because you're not making the playoffs. If you're going to miss the playoffs, at least get a good draft pick. I mean, there's a documentary that came out that's one of the key people in that documentary said that if you're not first, you're last.
Yeah.
So you might as well be last.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be first.
I agreed with that guy.
Didn't his dad... That was his dad who told him that, but didn't...
Made it up.
Yeah, his dad was...
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was high when he said that.
He was high when he said that.
Yeah. So, Marsh, I think you're... Yeah, that's a...
Well, no.
I mean, it's a good documentary.
I gotta rethink everything.
Documentary, I'll give you that. But
you're telling me that he could be second, third, fourth, hell, even fifth?
Yes,
wow.
That's exactly what we're saying, Marsh. Sorry, man.
Going back to the original discussion there, I don't care about getting a one draft pick that's higher. There's no guarantee that guy turns into anything. I'd rather start developing this culture back towards a winning way, get the team on track. Whatever pieces I've acquired at the deadline are now part of my future and part of my process. I'd rather finish the season strong than worry about one player that could or could not be a major league player.
And I'm just saying, if you go full suck, right? We don't have the debate on whether or not Mo might or may not end up doing the right thing at the deadline.
True. All right. We'll wrap up the show.
I just hate losing, Andrew. I can't accept it.
Next on 101 ESPN.
Gentlemen, listen up and listen well, because right now I guarantee you're probably paying too much for your ED meds. You know what I'm talking about, too. That little blue pill or maybe the chewy ones, whatever it is, you're paying too much. There's no need. Head over to the medicine shop in St. Charles. They've got you covered, your destination for cheap ED meds. As always, they have the generic called sildenafil for less than $2 a pill. Now, I've seen this advertised in other places. Not for $2. The medicine shop in St. Charles has you covered at $2 a pill. Prescription is required. And if there's any other medicines that maybe you get on a monthly basis that you need or require, you can have those sent to your home or your workplace. Free discreet shipping. And that's an amazing feature. I take full advantage of that with the busy schedule with kids, with Blues games and all that other stuff going on. The medicine shop in St. Charles takes care of me. And not just that way either. Walk into the pharmacy. They have a wonderful, wonderful pharmacy with great people who care about you, and customer service is fantastic. Do me a favor, though. When you walk in, please tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love hearing that. They're going to talk to you about anything that you're requiring that day at the pharmacy. So again, get there in person if you can. But if you can't, you can visit them online at stcharles.pharmacy. That's stcharles.pharmacy.
Miss anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast at 101ESPN.com or your 101 ESPN mobile apps, all brought to you by Dobbs Star and Auto Centers. Talked about the Cardinals' huge victory today over the Miami Marlins. Talked about how Skip Schumacher, he's really got the Marlins going in the wrong direction now.
I forgot how to manage.
Sandy Alcantara, how Jamie dove into why the Cardinals actually won the Sandy Alcantara trade. So riveting stuff that you're going to check out there at the podcast. So hope you enjoy it because, boy, a lot of good stuff. We talked to JR as well, and most of the Cardinals. We had a good conversation about Carlson, though, I thought, Jamie.
Yes, I would agree.
You and I going back and forth, taking different viewpoints on it. And I thought it all wound up being just spectacular all the way around.
The key to that, Anthony, is just good communication.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. Marsh, what do you got for criticisms and compliments, kid?
Yeah, guys, Kurt on YouTube said that you guys are hunky man rockets.
Oh, thank you.
Kurt is obviously very knowledgeable. I got a real keen eye, too.
And that there's not another duo on the radio that are as hunky as these man rockets, Jamie and Anthony.
And Marsh is the prettiest of all of us, too. So
He is. He is. But we'll take the victory.
Yeah,
Anthony.
thank you. Yeah, appreciate
Small
you.
victories, Just talked about not wanting to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much.
Yes, very nice. You got the self-esteem up right now.
Ken, just out of curiosity, I don't know this, so I'm going to ask you guys. Can our listeners go back on YouTube and watch past episodes?
Yes.
There you go, Anthony.
Yes.
All about that. Now you can see the Man Rockets whenever you want.
So once we're done streaming, we can go back. We have a playlist on our YouTube page. Each show has their own playlist. So if you go to 101 ESPN STL, that is our @ on YouTube, you can check out today's show, yesterday's show, Friday's show. Well, we didn't have a show on Sunday unless you guys decided to come in.
We did. Yeah,
wow.
we did.
Thanks for the call.
We thought you still need to recover.
Yeah, actually, I did, actually. I really did. Jamie was probably recovering, too, on his way home from the Lake of the Ozarks.
Man, I had such a good time, guys.
Was
I
hamstring
needed that.
specifically.
Oh, right. Hamstring, yeah. It's better, though. I was running a little bit today.
Were you?
Yep.
Good, Jamie.
But, you know,
it's good to see you active again.
Yeah, well, I stayed active the whole time, Anthony. Tell you, there's certain things you do in life that you don't really realize what you use your hamstrings.
Yeah.
Like how much you use.
You use those puppies all the time.
Yeah. Well, there's certain things that you do, hopefully, at least on a regular basis, that you don't necessarily know.
Yeah.
Your hamstrings are involved.
Yeah, but
Let me tell you, they are. Sometimes you have to adjust what you're doing to take the pain out of your hamstrings.
Something to think about, Marshy.
Words of wisdom, boys.
Yep. And that's why Jamie won the ESPY Award for Best Male Performance in 2023.
Is that what it was for?
Yes.
It was a great performance.
Okay.
Yes. So.
Way to go, Jamie.
I'm glad Kurt could boost your guys' self-esteem from the 636. Anthony, you're disgusting.
Thank you.
Wow.
That's harsh,
I think that was in reference to you not being able to get the LSU question correct in the Gauntlet.
I did get it correct.
But you did not get it right off the bat.
Did I get it correct or not?
You did get it correct.
Thank you.
But you knew it.
Did I get it correct or not?
From the 314. Darn, had to get out of my car. I texted back, check us out on the 101 app. Texted back on, thanks. Had to listen to the wife bitch about work for a half hour.
Oh, my goodness. Wow, top rope. Wow, good luck, sir. Hopefully she's not listening. Whoops.
That's tough.
That is tough.
That's, boy, you don't like to hear that.
What, the complaining about work?
That's all I'm going to say. You don't like to hear that, Jamie. It's the tough one, you know, where you miss the show. You miss the fast lane, and you can't, you know.
Check out the podcast.
You can't, well, sure. Now he knows, but
he knows now.
That's a tough one.
At least there's only a half hour.
Yeah.
From the 618, hey, Jamie, you up? Love always. Cardinals.
Oh, yeah, there you are. You got me.
Marsh, you had indicated that you are going to text them as soon as you get home.
Yeah, I might.
You're all in.
Oh, God, I want to go that far.
What if they cold shoulder you now, Marshy?
Oh, I hope they do.
Oh, I'm sure they will. It's part of the toxic relationship.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's the cycle from hell.
See, I'm the type, though, where I'm not going to respond. I won't respond because I was always taught that, you know, they'll eventually give me a call.
Wow. Okay. Did you learn that from that documentary that you partook?
No, actually, I learned that from Jamie.
That makes more sense.
There you go.
That makes more sense.
I've learned a lot of things from Jamie.
Yeah.
Over the course of my time here at 101 ESPN.
Both information that you can use and Jamie information that you want to avoid.
Yeah. You're welcome, Andrew. We have one here, guys. A little shout out from the 618 says, can I get a happy 20th anniversary to Brandon and Christy?
Oh, yeah.
Well, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to Brandon and Christy.
There you go. Well done.
Congrats. 20 years.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Good for you guys. Mm-hmm. They're listening to each other's stories about work while listening to the Fast Lane.
Yeah, we're not going to get involved, Anthony. We're better off not being involved.
Jamie, I think we can give some advice to this.
They don't want my advice, Anthony.
Okay. We'll keep the feet moving. What else you got, Mark?
Yeah. From Swan. This one caught me by surprise. Great show today, guys. I'm still just going to ignore the Cardinals text. They don't deserve my useful time on this fake hot streak.
Whoa.
Have a great rest of your day, guys. Thinks the hot streak's fake.
Wow, Swan.
I mean, why would you think that?
It's pretty real.
Fake?
I mean, is it though?
No, it's not. I think that these guys are playing for realsies. And we're going to see the best of the Cardinals moving forward.
Now, the hot streak isn't fake, but is it a legit one that gets you going?
Yes. Can't you tell?
Because for me, I need a little bit more.
Jamie says yes. Jamie's all in.
I need a little bit more.
Aren't you greedy?
Wow.
What, is it going to be 6 or 7 or 8? Would it take
how much
8 or
more do
9
you
to
need?
satisfy you?
Boy, oh boy.
Like, I don't even know, Marshy.
Holy smokes, Marsh. Really?
Well, I would like them to beat the Cubs.
Most people are satisfied with 5, maybe 6.
Yeah.
You want 8, 9, or 10.
Good grief.
Greedy. Just greedy.
I think I'll...
Can you believe this guy?
I don't know.
I don't know anymore.
I'm not this kid anymore.
I tell you.
Wow. This might be the ultimate compliment I've ever seen. Jamie, Anthony, and Marshy should win an award for Best Radio Trio at 101 ESPN.
Thank you.
I agree.
I think we're the only trio. No, we're not the only trio.
No, BK, Ferrario, and T-Bone.
That's, but the morning show is a 4 spot
That's a quattro.
now. Yeah.
Then we got Tim and Jackson. They're a duo.
Right. So basically,
the dynamic duo.
Yeah. Basically, we beat BK and Ferrario and T-Bone. Yeah, we'll take it, right, Jamie?
I like
take
winning.
all wins.
I like winning.
That's
Me
right.
too.
No, you don't. You literally said you don't.
Shh. For Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Appreciate everybody listening today. We got instant replay coming up from 6 to 7 tonight. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock breaking down ways that the Cardinals get into the playoffs. I'm sure that will be exciting. See ya!